On today's Pardon My Take, Chris Berman, the Schwam, in person, 80 minutes, unbelievable interview. We've been wanting to do this interview for a very long time. It finally happened. Perfect way to kick off Super Bowl week. We also have the finale of Drive to the 405. The boys made it safely. We'll recap with them. We have some Super Bowl week thoughts, who's back of the week, all of it. Great show coming up. And we're brought to you by our friends at 1-800-Flowers. There's a reason why you turn to 1-800-Flowers.com for Valentine's Day. When you need a gift that's guaranteed, 1-800-Flowers has you covered with the best selection of Valentine's Day roses, mixed bouquets, gourmet treats, and more. 1-800-Flowers has everything. You can get a medley of light and hot pink roses or the timeless red roses. You can't go wrong with a bouquet from 1-800-Flowers. Listen up, guys. Do it right now. Do it for your wife, your girlfriend, your mom, everyone in your life. Send them 1-800-Flowers. They will love you for it. So go right now. Think ahead and get the 18-stem Enchanted Rose medley for just $39.99 or upgrade to 24 red roses for $10 more. Get right to the romance this Valentine's and find the way to wow with 1-800-Flowers.com to order the 18-stem Enchanted Rose medley for $39.99 or upgrade to 24 red roses for $10 more. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, enter the code PMT. That's 1-800-Flowers.com, code PMT. Hurry, offer expires Wednesday. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Pardon My Take, presented by 1-800-Flowers.com. Go right now to 1-800-Flowers.com, click up top and put in the code PMT and do it right now. Get those flowers in right now because Valentine's Day is coming up. 1-800-Flowers. Today is Monday, February 7th, and we are in L.A. Chris Berman on the show. What? You guys have made it here safely. I'm looking right now at Billy. He's got a 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah.
How's it? Give us the full recap, boys.
Okay, so the vibes are currently high. Overall, it was a great trip. I think everybody had a good time. Every road trip's going to have a little bit of hiccups in it here and there, some adversity we have to battle through.
Like big stakes?
As like maybe a big stake. We can get to that in a second. It was a great time. And to Billy's credit, actually, you know what? This road trip was Billy in a microcosm, 100%, because I'd say 90% of the time he was awesome and a joy to be around. I feel like we got closer on this trip. All of us did. But there was about 10% of the time when, after doing like some serious work, Billy got us through a severe ice storm, got us into Memphis, did some really tough driving, stayed awake the entire time, wouldn't let me touch the wheel. He's like, no, I got this. Don't worry about it. After about 2 days of that, Billy needed to go on another little rumspringa. Billy needed to have like a little mini vacation in the middle of the road trip. So he did the steak challenge in Amarillo at the Big Texas.
Crushed it, right?
Well, Billy, don't answer that.
No, let Billy answer. He wants to answer. He's got the words in his mouth.
The video is coming out tomorrow. I don't want to spoil it.
But just give us.
I'll put it this way: if Billy had absolutely dominated the steak, do you think that maybe Billy would have found a way to start talking about what a great job he did?
I think he would have FaceTimed me from the steak, being like, look at this. Aren't you proud of me?
Billy? You don't have to answer any of this, by the way.
No, I mean, the toughest part of the drive was probably Cincinnati to Memphis driving-wise.
I thought it was the steak.
Well, then when we were going on the road, that's when the ice storm had gone through all the areas. So we were driving at times through about 2 to 3 inches of just pure ice.
I've grown to really appreciate Billy's excuses, by the way. Billy's a fucking artist when it comes to excuses.
Yes. No, he is.
He is so good at them. Like, just reading the blogs that he wrote, every night he'd get back to the hotel, write a blog, and then usually he'd like pass out in the middle of the blog, and he'd be like, but there would always be an excuse for why he didn't finish it, which was
he fell asleep.
Which was usually like, so I was going to finish the blog, but then I was on my bed, and then I didn't remember anything until the next day.
Like that.
And it's like Billy invented falling asleep.
Which is totally understandable. Being on the road is like very tiring, like physically your body's tired. I know you're a young buck, but so the steak.
So I mean, we had a great. Honestly, it was the best road trip I've ever taken in my life. It was so much fun
across the country.
A couple.
Okay.
Not across the total country, but big sections of it.
This is number one.
and it was awesome.
I'll put it this way: on our way into Hollywood, in the last maybe like we were doing fractions the entire time, by the way, to make it go by faster. I think it was like the last we were 219ths of 220ths of the way all the way to the hotel, and Billy goes, "You know, I actually think that this road trip changed my life." And I was like, "In what way?" And he started to answer, and then me and Bubba were like, "Actually, Billy saved that part." I want to know
So
how
let's hear
Billy's
it.
life
Yes.
has changed.
It unlocks something in my brain that I don't think will ever go away.
Which
Just
is
discovered a lot about myself.
anything specifically?
Just Wild Bill.
This is great. Wild Bill. He's like the kid who goes away for 6 months for
Feral.
Studied
Just
abroad.
like,
school. You studied abroad. Now you're Wild Bill. You got the cowboy hat. I like this. I would like to meet Wild Bill.
Yeah, no, Wild Bill was a lot of fun, and credit to Bubba too. Bubba got thrown in last minute.
Well, that's 100% his fault.
Oh, correct.
we had
yeah.
an awesome time.
But Bubba had a good time too.
Yes.
I think. And Snapchat Steve Romano, was also a great partner. We had solid vibes for most of the trip until the part where Billy got drunk and got off his leash for a little bit, and that was a little bit tough. But you know, Billy snapped back after he went on his Rumspringer. He was fine for the rest of the drive.
I thought that was a very funny visual when I read the blog, Billy, of you just getting like drunk on purpose so you didn't have to drive, and then taking a piss every 30 minutes and having Steve throw out your hot piss out the back window.
Okay,
that's like
that was
dude,
a
that is
very-
road tripping. Like that's an awesome. That's a great part of road tripping.
But I think we had such high positive vibes. There's no energy vampires in the car. Everyone was going like balls to the wall. We got in situations like we were in Memphis, right? And we pull into Memphis after white knuckling it through sheets of ice. And the Tennessee power grid had gone down. And we were running out of gas. And because there was no power at a bunch of the gas stations heading into Memphis, there was a possibility that we were not able to get gas to get to Memphis. And we ended up rolling into Memphis, barely skirting by, having to find the only gas station with power in like 2 counties. We ended up late into Memphis, and all of Memphis had 0 power. So we finally got to the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid. It was amazing.
Absolutely gorgeous.
I mean, PFT had a gift that was left for him.
Yeah. So I should probably explain this because I'm not sure if you did happen to read Billy's blogs. He did a great job recapping.
Very
the entire
funny
trip.
blogs.
I got to the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid, which is better than the pyramids in Egypt. They put fucking lakes inside of a pyramid. It's a wonderful, magical place. We go up to the lodge, which is also beautiful. I go into my room. Great room. Amazing room. All the bells and whistles. But I open the door, and there's just a giant trail of rose petals as soon as I open the door. And it leads directly to the bed. And on the bed, I see a Victoria's Secret bag, a Bath & Body Works bag. I see a giant stuffed animal, and then chocolates. And I thought to myself, like, wow, this is really nice of them for them to put this out for me. I thought maybe they were playing a joke. Maybe they're AWLs.
Right.
Maybe they would, like, an AWL doing that would be objectively funny for me.
Yes.
So I'm like,
Because
this
the
is...
pyramid knew you were coming.
Yeah, they knew
Yes.
we were coming, and they arranged a tour for us
Yeah.
and everything like that. And so I go in, I start checking the bags, and I pull out the Victoria's Secret bag. 2 really nice sports bras, a pair of yoga pants, some workout leggings, and I was like, this is very lovely. I'm glad that they gave me these things. And then I walk into the bathroom, more rose petals in the bathroom. It says "The One" spelled out in rose
no.
petals on the ground
Oh no.
in the bathroom. And there's another gift bag on the bathroom counter in there. I open it up. I go through it. It's got 2 jars of weed and 2 special things,
Oh.
rolling papers. And I was like, wow, they knew
Yeah.
I was coming. This is awesome. And so,
Not a drug guy.
Not a drug guy. And then
Please put that in.
I walk out to meet the guys going downstairs to try to find food. Found Billy, found Steve. And I was like, Bubba, you were already downstairs, right, at that point? Yeah. So I grabbed these guys. I was like, come check out the room. I'm going to do a cribs real quick on my room because they decked it out for me. I bring Steve in, start showing him around, start like bragging, like, look at the hookup here. And then I think Billy sees the bag that's behind one of the chairs in the room. And we have this all on tape. We'll put out a vlog of it. And I'm like, oh my God, whose bag is that? And there were Crocs and dirty laundry hanging out of the bag. And then we look around, we're like, this is not my room.
Yeah.
They double booked my room, and some guy is trying to get laid. So the hardest.
Yeah.
No one has ever tried to get laid harder than this guy was trying that night.
Early Valentine's Day.
Honestly, he was coming on a little strong.
Yeah.
But so Billy starts freaking out.
Yeah,
he's
started
like
tweaking out.
He's like, we got
Wild Bill?
yeah.
No,
Wild Bill.
I was because
we got to get out of this room.
Look, we had gotten into the part of the country where everyone routinely carries firearms.
Right, but you are Wild Bill.
Right, but if a
it's
guy
kind of-
if a guy walks in,
cowboy-
no, he wasn't Wild
Yeah.
Bill yet.
no,
yeah,
Wild Bill.
Pre- When did-
Wild-
Where did Wild Bill?
Oklahoma. We
Okay.
got to the gas station in Oklahoma, and it was very apparent that it was a buy a fun hat part of the road trip.
Right.
Once we got past Arkansas, but then we were I thought if a guy was with his
He would
significant
shoot
other
you, yeah.
comes in and sees the three of us just like
Smoking his weed.
he walks in, he just starts
Trying
blasting.
on his yoga pants. Yeah, so Billy thought we were either going to get fucked or shot if we stayed in that room.
Uh-huh.
There's a chance that
Why
they
not
come
both?
back into
Yeah.
the room, and the guy's like, wow, okay, I guess it's a bigger party than I'd planned for. So then we found out, because there was also a big part of my take basket that they had left in the room for us.
Ah.
So you
In the
see
same room?
In the
Yeah.
same room. So you see where my confusion comes
Yeah,
from.
that's
Well,
very
maybe you got set up.
No, I didn't, because then I go downstairs and I'm like, hey, it's a great room, but I think maybe somebody else is supposed to be there. And so the lady comes up, I get all my stuff out, and they see, I think Bubba was in the doorway at the time, and the lady comes up to Bubba, and she doesn't know that he's with us. She thought that he was the guy that was supposed to be in the room, and she's like, Mr. I don't know if I won't say his last name, but she thought that Bubba was the guy, which actually I can't even. We can take that part out because the guy's name was Mr. Walker, and so for a second we thought that Brandon Walker
Brandon
was
had
trying
showed
to,
up, yeah.
was trying to fuck in that room.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was like a minor setback, and then we
Well-
almost got killed in Memphis.
Well, the thing is, we were trying to find food when no one was serving food because there was no power. But we saw Hooters, and the Hooters was, as PFT described it, a mirage in the desert.
Uh-huh.
It was the only place open. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm dead serious. The only place that had power in Memphis was this Hooters.
Westies was closed for locals who know. And
Shout out.
Well, that's
We didn't even go there. I don't know
No,
why Billy's
Westies-
shouting him out.
I mean, but
Westies
Billy's a
clo-
Memphis local.
No, I'm saying like,
but
well,
those,
people,
those who know, know.
no, but like Westies, everyone in Memphis like go to Westies because it's open till 2 a.m. So if you're looking for late night food, they're all probably thinking, why didn't you go to Westies? Westies was closed and they never closed.
There was at least a dozen people who were mad at that point of the podcast right there. They're like, what the fuck? Why didn't you go to Westies?
Exactly.
So
But
we're
anyway,
good.
show up at Hooters and we meet an AWL who also sees that Hooters is also closed. And we were talking to him like, where should we get food? What should we do? And he says, maybe if you want to try fast food, go down this one road. And if you want to buy beer, there's don't go to the first gas station, go to the second gas station. We're like, okay, fine. So we head down the road.
We went to
and
the first gas station
we're-
by accident.
We're realizing that we're probably not going to eat that night, so we might as well just pick up some beers and try to get some calories that way.
Yep.
Yeah, it was about
Wild
calories.
Bill. That's
Yes.
a Wild Bill move. I
Classic,
like it.
classic.
Wild
Billy
Bill didn't
excuse
show
right
up
there.
No, I think that's the beginning of Wild
so
Bill.
if you look at beer, if you look at Coors Light, it's made of wheat. That's in bread.
Yep.
It's made of yeast. It's like you're eating a sandwich.
Yes.
Sneaky protein in beer.
Yes.
Yeah, sneaky protein.
anyway-
I've also grown to appreciate how often Billy puts the word sneaky in front of things that are just like extremely apparent. Like when he's like, I was just going sneaky 110.
And low key.
Low key. All right, keep going, Billy.
So we are in a camo Chevy Silverado, a very amazing truck, a truck that people would do a lot of stuff for.
It's a truck's
pull up-
truck.
Which I think it's yours now.
Really? No. So we show up. So the
I have a
gas
prediction
station
that
looks.
Billy thinks it's his truck now.
The gas station looks very nice, like newly done, like not an old rundown gas station. Looks like fairly great.
They got
new
good gas
speed.
there.
Yeah, like
the
they have-
good shit.
There's like you go in there and like there's all sorts of tobacco products. There's also sort of energy
Like
drinks.
an extensive beef jerky selection.
Yeah,
type of
yeah,
gas
like
station.
good
That's what
stuff.
it's like.
So we pull up, and we're like, oh, does this look like this looks like a good gas station? This must be the second one. So we get out of the car, we walk in. The gas station was like it looked like a.
It was the worst
Liam,
gas
how
station.
would you describe it?
It was the worst gas station I've ever been in my life.
Okay.
Everybody
From
inside
a Pilot J to, a
everyone
place where you don't
inside
pay cash.
was like wandering around like they were zombies.
Mm-hmm.
There was a guy that was getting cash out of the ATM, actively like looking over his shoulder, look away, typing in like his PIN number into the ATM, making sure that nobody was coming behind him. We probably should have left. We did not. We started checking out, getting all our stuff, and everybody, by the way, was in this gas station, not buying anything,
Just
They
hanging
were
out.
hanging out and waiting at the counter. Billy thinks that they were selling something else in that gas station.
oh,
It
not
was
a narc.
Not a narc.
Not, but look,
we did look like
we
big time narcs. Though.
Yeah.
We stuck out like sore thumbs, and there was like some guy started whispering in PFT's ear at the register.
He called me a bitch.
Yeah,
No. He called me a hoe.
Yeah, he called PFT a hoe, and then he went and walked to one of the older gentlemen who was hanging out by the side of the door. He said, "You security? You security?" And then it's like, why is he asking if that guy's security? Because he's trying to figure out if Anyway,
So
we got out of there pretty fast.
So the security guard at that point shrugs his shoulders and takes a couple steps back, meaning like he's letting them know he is ready to look away
Right.
at any given point. So then we get our shit, get out into the parking lot. Billy's freaking out. And
no.
And I was cool, man.
Maybe Wild Bill had to come because he was like, I gotta.
Yeah.
these people.
Sounds like Wild Bill. Yeah. Memphis rattled them.
Billy was saying like, this sucks because I can't get into a fight tonight because it's still within a calendar year of fighting Jose Canseco.
Oh, because your hands are weapons.
My hands are
yeah.
still
They're
registered
still
as a
registered
lethal weapon.
No.
That's why.
Yeah.
So no, we're walking to the truck, and like I'm just like looking over my shoulder, just making sure, because I had a feel if we'd stay there any longer, probably a couple phone calls would have been made, and we probably would have gotten carjacked. Because once I went back to the bar at the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid, I was like, look, man, we were at this, and the guy was just like, you're lucky you didn't get carjacked, because that happens all the time in that kind of truck. And like, anyway, we
The truck, to be fair, probably gave off signals that we likely carry firearms.
Well, no, but they couldn't see it.
no, they
Good point. Yeah.
Right. So
Anyway,
you'd have been fine.
John Cena
when we were
truck,
getting into the truck in the gas station, all of a sudden, two vehicles pull off. You hear a skirting noise, and like, we're just like, what the fuck? Like, how would you describe it?
It was tensions were high.
Like the noise in movies before a drive-by shooting occurs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So long story short, we got out of there and we're fine. No harm, no foul. But then we the next day we discovered that there was a leak in our tire. There was a nail. Billy hit a nail.
God damn it,
It's not
Billy.
Billy's
How could
fault,
you?
but he did, for the record, drive directly over a nail. And we were trying to find a place to get it changed. There were no places in Memphis except we found this one spot that was in a very bad like the buildings around it had been burned to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And the only person that was outside was like this 65-year-old prostitute and it was like 20 degrees outside.
Only person working in Memphis.
Yeah, so
cold.
It was credit to her. And so we're like, you know what? Let's just go over the bridge to West Memphis, see if we can find a place there. We find a place. Then we have to walk to we did a simulated hunt in Memphis, is what we said. We had to walk down the street and find a Sonic and then order at that. Fortunately, we got everything squared away, hit the road. No more major hiccups after that, except for Billy getting drunk. And then we did.
Well, that was Wild Bill.
That was Wild Bill.
You
Wild
can't.
Bill came out.
I think Wild Bill doesn't. That doesn't count.
Now, as far as the steak challenge goes, which again we won't spoil, but go watch the video that's coming out. Billy,
All I wanted to know is better or worse than the hot wing challenge.
Better.
Well,
okay,
Way
all right.
better.
he
Way
didn't even
better.
finish a single wing.
Yeah.
at the hot.
Well, that's. I mean, you know,
Way
I would
more-
say like 20 ounces would be the same.
Yeah, so we won't spoil it, but Billy officially tried the Big Texan Challenge at the Big Texan Steakhouse.
Now,
Start of the championship.
was
DVD.
this Wild Bill?
Nope. Oh yeah,
No, this was Wild Bill.
No, so
Wild
Wild
Bill
Bill-
showed up in Oklahoma.
So Wild Bill. So that's not Bill. Billy might have been able to finish it.
Well, Wild Bill doesn't play by the rules, so
Got it.
Wild Bill didn't do the extensive prep work.
I'm scared about
Wait,
Wild Bill
wait.
in LA. There's a lot of rules out here.
yeah, I know.
Also,
Does Wild Bill
I don't
wear a
want-
mask?
Wild Bill doesn't like to be told what to do.
I don't want to just gloss over what Billy just said right there. You said I didn't put in the extensive work necessary to take on this challenge. The only work that he had to do was not get drunk before he tried it.
Right.
That's
And it was also in the morning, right?
and it was also we got
10
there
a.m.
at 10 a.m. So we think it'd be a fun idea to have Billy going around from coast to coast, like man versus food, but like just getting bodied.
Nature
by
always
food.
wins,
Getting
yeah.
just jacked up by food.
You're the Washington Generals.
He's
of-
the yeah. He's the bro Adam.
Man,
I mean,
Richards.
but so many people do those challenges and finish. Like, we want to see someone who,
You can't finish any of them. Yeah, that actually would be a good video.
No.
Like, it's like watch Billy just show up and with all, because the nice thing about you is that you would show up to every food challenge being like, this is the one I'm going to do.
Well-
and then just get bodied time and time again.
Let's just remember the steak challenge is the steak plus other stuff.
right. So
Okay,
so you got through the whole
well,
steak.
And you
Or-
yeah,
definitely
so you ate the whole steak.
Definitely ate the
Or-
whole steak then,
well,
right?
There's grizzle. You were allowed to cut off grizzle.
There was
so
actually
there's,
not any grizzle.
Yeah,
on it.
there was no
because
grizzle.
it was
Anyway,
sirloin. It was
watch the video. It's an
sirloin
amazing
cut.
video. And then the most beautiful.
Not an amazing video.
The
Oh, it's not out.
It's not
Yeah,
out,
so
but
all
it will
right.
be
So
out.
don't
But-
watch. It will be an amazing
Yes.
video.
Beautiful. After Amarillo was some of the most beautiful country I've ever seen.
Change your life.
This is where you're just like
well,
staring
also-
at the western sky. You guys don't understand. You're laughing, but you don't understand.
This is
I mean, Hank and I have driven the exact same drive.
yeah, but you weren't doing it after miles. Like the transition.
We did it in a RV. We literally did the exact same drive.
also Billy was drunk.
It changed my life
on
too.
that. Billy passed out, like completely passed out. It was Billy left the steak challenge, put on a Hans Zimmer soundtrack compilation of just orchestral music, and then proceeded to pass out in the passenger seat shotgun for the next 4.5 hours. Now he's right about the drive through the west part of New Mexico. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, but I do like the. He's the first person to discover road trips.
Yeah.
No, but it was just really awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
we've
I'm
done
co-
it.
I'm
It's
coming.
a sick drive.
We were recording this 30 minutes after we valeted the truck, and I've been walking. I'm just like, wow, like you got like a driver's high.
I don't think that Wild Bill would let a valet.
Yeah, I
touch
was
his
gonna say
car.
that's
It's
kinda-
like, it's like
Well,
you're
there's
getting.
the
cut-
worst
he's
part about the
cucking
fucking
your
road
Silverado,
trip was
bro.
the last 5 minutes.
Yeah,
trying to
because
find the goddamn place.
That's
and-
fine.
It's a concrete jungle. You can't have
Yeah.
Wild Bill in here.
Yeah.
PFT,
Bullshit.
At any point, I saw one tweet in the beginning, but like at any point, because it worked out, it was a great bet. I think everyone was happy with the content that came out of it. But at any point where you like, I kind of regret purposely losing these last few weeks because I kind of wish I was just like flying on Sunday.
Yeah, there was one point, I think on the very first night when we're going out to Cincinnati, and it's registering that we're not going to get there until after 3 a.m. And then we have to wake up super early the next day. And once you've been on the, sometimes it's hard to fall asleep, so none of us got a good amount of sleep on the entire trip. That was really, there was a little bit of doubt at that point, but then honestly, like Billy's vibes brought the entire thing up. Billy's is a very, very good road trip partner. Like I said, 90% of the time.
Was the drive straight through to Cincy the right move?
Yeah,
was.
100%.
I'll accept the
Huge-
apology.
Huge shout.
Actually, Bill, you.
I was
Yeah.
I was talking that type of. I wanted to think that first night to drive.
Yeah, you crushed it. That was road dog life.
Yeah.
It was road dog lifestyle, and
It-
but
it's sa- I'm sad that the trip's over because we had such great vibes between Liam.
Well, there's no rules when you're on the road. Like it's not real life.
Let's keep it up this week.
Just
Let's
dudes
keep-
out on the
Gyp-
road.
dude, like traveling man.
Yeah, there's nothing like it.
Can you
Gypsy
explain
spirit.
the picture you tweeted today too of the guys that somehow found you on the road in their car and put a sign up on their window?
yeah.
That was
I have
scary.
no idea how they found us because we were.
yeah,
This is a trick that Big Cat taught me when I first joined Barstool and we started doing the podcast. When you're in a different place, like stagger your posts a little
Right.
bit, keep people guessing as to where you are. So I was never letting people know exactly where
Don't
we were.
show up and like tweet immediately. Like I'm eating at this place right now.
Yeah.
And
So
then sit there for 3 hours.
somehow this AWL and his girlfriend found us. Like I don't know if they waited on an overpass for us to drive underneath, but they had, I think it was like a Dodge Charger, so it was a pretty sweet loud car, and they got stuff to write on their windows. On the back it said "Thank you for your service, Billy," and then on the side
Thank you.
it said "PFT has no eyes." And so then they pull up behind us, they speed around us. We don't know who they are. They honk their horn as they pass us. So my antenna goes up. I'm like, okay, that's probably a listener of the show. Then they get in front of us. Billy doesn't hear them honk. They get in front of us and they roll their windows down and start waving. And Billy goes, "That guy just flipped us off." And he's ready to, he goes into war
No,
mode.
I
real
just
quick.
I just see one finger fly up.
You ready to
It's like-
fucking fight?
Well, the
Wait, is
beeping-
this officially? Are we officially in the zone where you can get in a fight?
Yeah, Billy can get into a
you
fight.
can get in
now.
a fight again.
I'm not. No, that was the joke. My
But-
my license has expired.
So you can get in a fight. So just
Technically.
everyone in LA, be careful.
And also, it wasn't a joke because I busted Billy's balls about this a little bit when he was taking on the steak challenge on the anniversary of boxing Jose Canseco. And Billy's like, "No, but like legitimately, if
Yeah,
I
no,
get
I
into
know.
a
We know
fight and I
it's
hurt
not-
somebody,
yeah.
so it's not a total
We
joke."
know it's not a joke. You've said it many times.
It is.
So-
There's legal precedent.
So the person flips us off that Billy thinks, and Billy's like, "Well, they just flipped us off," and we're about ready to fight in Billy's mind. And then I was like, "Billy, no, calm down. They're an AWL. They're a fan of the show." And so then
Billy kills someone who lives on
No,
the
I
first
thought-
day he's legally allowed to.
I thought no. I thought because they beeped and then they swerved in front of us quickly, and I was like, "What's going on?" Like I'm focused on the road, not what's back right. Anyway, they were really nice. There was another couple that found us in Oklahoma too, who took a video and they tweeted it, put it in the blog. Very cool. And then
Yeah,
You gotta
I
just
saw-
like come up with ways to keep yourself entertained and engaged on the road because there's only so much that one playlist can do,
Yeah.
and we managed to kind of mix it up and keep things spicy on the road.
I
All
mean,
in all, solid
Billy, I know. I mean, you got the piss and vinegar of a 22-year-old that like you are a perfect road trip guy.
it
You
was
are.
it was so fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just
if I,
dude, I'm telling you, just get back in that fucking car
I don't
and
know
go
if
back.
I'll ever catch that high again. Just cruising.
You can drive back.
I do think Billy should just live on the road.
Well, so my prediction was that Billy's gonna drive the car back and then just like leave it in his house, and then like in like 2 or 3 weeks he was gonna come up to my desk and be like, "So, like that truck, like, can I keep it now?" I was just been like, you know what? I don't. If no one says anything to me, you can.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he was great to have. Bubba was awesome too. So was Steve. It was a solid group, and I think we're just road dog brothers for life now. We'll always have
go.
the drive to the 405.
There it is.
we saw a crater.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was
did see a
kind
crater,
of
saw a meteor crater.
It was the most
that the Grand Canyon?
well-preserved crater.
No, it's a
in the
crater.
world.
A meteor struck like 30 miles west of Winslow. So we stopped and went and checked it out. It was a big hole in the ground.
Sick.
As far as holes go, it was one of the bigger ones I've seen.
That is sick.
Probably
I
the
didn't even
biggest.
know- When did that hit?
50,000 years ago.
Oh fuck.
I don't know. I just made up a
Been
big
a
sounding
very long
number.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big old hole.
All right. Anything else from the drive or any other stories before we do who's back and get to Berman?
I'm sure we'll remember other stuff, but
It-
everything happened so fast.
If you're on the corner in Winslow, Arizona, look up to one of the top floor windows on the corner. Good surprise up there.
A little Easter egg.
Oh, did you guys put it there?
No,
No.
it's just
Oh.
Billy thought it was really funny because they painted like a guy
Oh,
and a
you s-
girl making out. in
You
the
sent a
window.
picture. Yeah, you tweeted a picture, right?
Yeah.
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 Billy thought the makeout session thing was.
I mean, it is guy and girl,
pretty
like
funny.
you could imagine.
Yeah, I was saying.
Oh,
it's
What are they
like-
doing?
It's like
They-
they wrote a
they
third
ended up
verse
together.
to that song, like an additional part where they start smashing and mushing.
Okay, let's get to who's back. Who's back? Brought to you by Chevy Trucks. Billy, you can speak to it. Chevy makes the greatest trucks of all time.
We were going through serious weather, ice, snow, and I felt so comfortable and so confident driving through that stuff in that Chevy Silverado.
Fuck
Grips
yes.
the road.
Yeah. So you know we're truck guys. 2021 was a big year for Chevy Trucks. Silverado really made some news. We're talking product news. Silverado ZR2, Chevy's new flagship off-road truck, was introduced in September, and in the spring you'll be able to see it at your Chevy dealer. And what's next for 2022? Chevy revealed the first ever all-electric Silverado built from the ground up on the Ultium battery platform that brings with it new power, new flexibility, and of course a new range of what's possible in a truck. We've seen the Silverado EV. It's really cool on the outside, and on the inside it's got all kinds of new features. Just a lot of firsts for an EV truck, so head over to Chevy.com to learn more and reserve your Silverado EV today. Chevy.com. The new Silverado, the new Silverado EV is going to be awesome. Go right now. Head over to Chevy.com. Learn more and reserve your Silverado EV today. Okay, who's back of the week? Hank, start.
Who's back of the week is the Olympics.
Yeah.
Ooh, we're boycotting.
Oh, that's
We're
right.
except the women's hockey.
Yeah, the women's
Yes.
hockey team we're supporting because they're friends of ours and we
Yes.
coach them.
But we're boycotting it.
Yeah, someone told me that the Olympics were back. I was like, no, I would have seen something from the opening ceremony or something. Like, no, it's actively going on. And
Yeah. Right now, as we speak, there's someone doing some kind of weird thing on ice.
Yeah, it's always weird to hear the announcers go out of their way to say like where the Republic of China, ROC, when they're
Yeah.
talking about Taiwan because they're not allowed to say Taiwan.
And then when
Like
the
where's
Russia, too, right?
the Russia was,
That's
they were-
ROC.
Yeah, ROC, because they were banned.
Rock Nation.
So they were taken out of the Olympics.
Russian Olympic Committee.
Yeah, so it was like they're not allowed to actually fly the flag.
And then my other who's back of the week, deja vu, but I should amplify it. We kind of predicted the future, but Harambe. We said it.
yeah.
I said it last week. Harambe
So
was
bad.
back. He kind of went viral. We had Sam Hubbard on. The clip was very funny, where he very clearly was like, "It's something we don't talk about." Like he was very clearly joking, but he did say the words, "We're doing it for him."
Yes.
And that's all it took for that interview to get picked up by every single news station, like in the world, with a dead serious quote. That's like, "We're doing it for him." Sam Hubbard says the Bengals are playing for Harambe.
It's perfect.
With no sense of
It's-
irony.
it's-
It was amazing.
It's so perfect, and it's the perfect time for it to all come full circle, because we've had this conversation off air many times. Like, when do you think Harambe jokes are going to be funny again? and it's like perfectly coincided with the Bengals.
There's a formula. I think we can extrapolate from this that like 5 years. They always say that like what is it? Comedy equals pain plus time. I'm probably mixing up the pain part of the equation, but time is always the factor in it. I think 5 years is now officially the amount of time when something can become funny again. There was that one article that was so funny. It was like, well, first it was Big J wrote it.
Right. That's why it's so funny.
They referred to me as PFT commentator, and then they said, host Big Cat, Dan Katz, asked, do you think it's fair to say that you would have stopped the Harambe situation? If you were there? And then they gave his answer to like how he would have like bowed up on Harambe.
Yes.
So yeah, that was very.
Shout out Mike Francesa. Watch the clip again.
This
The best.
gorilla.
The gorilla.
Just the way he says gorilla.
The best.
All right, PFT, your who's back?
I mean, my who's back was going to be Billy, because Billy really showed up this week. He really did.
Wild Bill or Billy?
I'm very proud. Billy, because even underneath the cold hard Wild Bill exterior that we all know and love so much, there's Billy in there somewhere. He just the formula with Billy is let him fuck up once out of every 5 days. Let Billy just be a real piece of shit, and then he'll come back. It's like you got a dog, let it run away. If it loves you, it will come back. If it doesn't, it was never meant to be. And then my other who's back of the week was going to be just what happens in Vegas, staying in Vegas. Because it looks like, well, actually, this is proof to the contrary. Looks like Alvin Kamara has a warrant out for his arrest in Vegas after the Pro Bowl.
Wait, wasn't
Already?
Yeah. No, it looks like it says right here, at approximately 5:50 p.m., they were dispatched to a local hospital where a person was reporting a battery. Was battered at a nightclub located in the 3500 block.
So this is probably yesterday?
No, it's because he played in the Pro Bowl, I think. So...
Oh, they arrested him after the Pro Bowl.
Have you ever noticed that when it's an athlete getting into a bar fight, it's always a nightclub?
Yeah.
And it's never they never just say like at a bar. It's like at a local nightclub establishment.
Maybe if they were tackling at the Pro Bowl, guys would be.
It was pretty crazy watching that. Like it was. I know that the Pro Bowl has always been weird, but they did try a little bit back in the day. This was that pick six that Patrick Mahomes threw, which was like. Did you see the highlight?
I didn't see that one.
It was. No one even came close to. I think Winfield from the Bucks picked it off, but like, no one even wanted to tackle him. Like they were running out of the way.
Yeah, I did see the Mac Jones scramble for the touchdown.
Yeah.
Where like three guys two-hand touched him. He didn't play by the rules. He just ran all the way to the end zone. Which credit to Mac. I probably would have done that too.
They had the new rule. They were trying out the new rule to spot and start or whatever. I don't know what it's called. Where you basically instead of a kickoff, this is what the Ravens proposed for overtime. I think a year ago or 2 years ago, where you pick a spot on the field. So like if I say, okay, your own 10-yard line, then the other team decides whether they're on defense or offense.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So there's I think the AFC did have like a 97-yard drive or something because they picked the 3-yard line. They're like, all right, we'll still take the ball.
Yeah, we'll take. Imagine electing to play defense in a Pro Bowl.
Right.
You're like, nope, I'm gonna bury you guys deep, play the field position game.
But it would be cool to be like in overtime, be like, all right, we're gonna do the 1-yard lines. Like, okay, well, we'll play defense.
Yeah, there was one point where I was watching the highlights of somebody running, and the guys don't want to get hit, they don't want to tackle. I understand.
No, why
that.
would they?
I wouldn't either. They should let the players play while they're all on Instagram Live on their phones, like the Antonio Brown rule, and have everybody with one hand with their phone facing themselves, broadcasting to their own audience during the plays.
Personally to their own audience. Yeah.
That would be sick.
Yeah. It was a fun over to have, even though we didn't have Wi-Fi on the plane. But a lot of people were like, dude, why would you take the over in the Pro Bowl? Like, why? I think there was a few unders in a row, but like, who the fuck cares?
Why would you ever bet on the under? Yeah.
Yeah. On the Pro Bowl? Like, what are we talking about? What were you going to say, Billy?
Body craves content.
Contact.
Body craves contact.
Yeah.
Kamara just
Maybe
didn't get
yours
enough
start
in the Pro
craving
Bowl.
Sirloin.
Ooh.
Sorry, that was bad. That was mean. I'm sorry. We're road dogs.
Well, wait till we see the video.
Yeah.
Right.
Anything could
Until
happen.
the facts come out.
Maybe
You could edit it. You could CGI it.
No, maybe it looks different
Maybe
than what he
it's a
remembers.
great sell, yeah.
Billy totally thinks it's going to come out and he's going to be like, I finished it in the video.
Yeah.
All right, my who's back is the Blue Bloods because Kentucky and Duke are awesome.
And Kansas.
And Kansas.
Taylor.
Duke had Coach K last game at Chapel Hill, got his fucking drunk grandson in the game at the end. I don't know if you saw that, Jake, but he
I
got
did.
in. He had trouble bringing the ball up the court. I'm just gonna say that. I was watching.
He's got Shire doing the half game interview.
Okay, so I tweeted that.
Shire also gets like I saw the other day. He was like introduced as the head coach of Duke. He's not yet.
He's not the head coach, but I tweeted, wow, Coach K is not going to have time for the media at halftime. Apparently, he's been doing that for a decade. Why do
Not talking to the
357 head coaches take halftime interviews, but one can't?
Wait, whoa. Are you just realizing now that
Yeah, I
Coach
didn't
K's
know
a
that.
huge hypocrite
Oh.
and fraud?
Well, no, Jake is just realizing now because it's
What?
about a halftime interview with the media.
Yeah, he never does halftime interviews.
Because he plays by his own rules.
That's crazy. Like, I understand he's a legend, 40
Duh.
years, whatever, but just take the interview. It's 30 seconds. They don't start the 15-minute halftime clock until the interview's done for fairness.
yeah. He's
So,
Coach
like,
K.
it wouldn't affect anything.
No, it would because he would, he has to be different than everyone else, right, Hank?
Crazy.
No, well, I mean, that's the best get different rules. That's just how it works.
He kept on showing his face during the intro for the UNC players. Like, what are we doing here?
I think it's
Taken away from the kids. I care about the kids, nothing like Coach K.
Coach K has perfected the art of just being a dick all the time, but once a year, like cracking like a tiny little joke and smiling, and everyone's like, "Oh, we love this guy."
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
really he's set
best.
the bar so low for
He's
himself.
the best. Bill, your who's back?
These hands.
Oh, yeah, they are. Let's go. Don't
No.
you fucking step to Billy.
That was gonna be my who's back just the whole year ago since it happened. Kind of crazy.
Time.
He's learned a lot about
just goes
himself
forward.
this year.
Yeah.
Can't stop it. What? So a year, Pat. Like, what? Any thoughts about the fight?
I wish it could have been better for the viewers.
That's not your fault.
I know.
That's literally 0% your fault.
I know.
You got in there.
I was
ready.
ready.
to go.
He
I
even
know.
tried to hit him after he got knocked down.
Yeah, yeah. Jose's a scumbag through and through. That's not your fault.
Yeah.
Fucking knocked him out. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You
What
got
was the
them
question
hands.
you guys asked like 4 times on his
Oh,
right after?
tell us about like
Yeah.
your mindset
Yeah.
that you got in
War mode.
when you were getting into the ring with him. Like, did you think that there was a chance that it was like kill or be killed, and what would you describe that as?
Yeah.
So actually,
He almost did it.
Yeah.
He almost did it.
no, honestly, Billy, like all
unbelievable.
kidding aside, when you stepped into the ring against Jose Canseco and you were about to fight him, like what was going through your head?
It was just the most serious I've probably ever been in my life.
Well, if there was like a mode, what would it be?
Just war mode.
Yeah.
I went war mode.
I mean, you did. You went
Yeah.
blinding war mode.
Oh, we should throw in this one extra story here about what happened to us in Amarillo at the end of the night because we were going back to the hotel and there was a truck that was not a Chevy Silverado that was trying to drive down the same road we were on, but it was going the opposite direction. Got stuck in the snow. We did not. We went right
Loser.
past it, and then we pulled the ultimate alpha move on it, which is let's pull over and then we will push them out of the snow because we're in a big ass car that can get out of the snow. So we get out and we start shoving this tiny little. I think it was like a.
It was a low rider.
Yeah, it was like a low rider, and we just start pushing the shit out of this thing. And then these other guys come up and they're talking to Billy. They're like, "Yo, you're swole. You should be able to push this out." And Billy's like, "I am swole." And so we tried to push it out. We pushed as hard as we could, making a little bit of progress. And then Billy goes, "Yo, what if I just got back into the truck and then I just hit that truck from behind?" And that was his
A
suggestion.
little push. It
Yeah,
wasn't
you
like
could do that.
a little,
Bumper car.
yeah, yeah.
Push, yeah.
Well, you get it, like go slow until they're
Yeah,
touching,
yeah.
and then you push it.
Yeah.
But if you had seen this truck, it was halfway rusted out in the back. You could see both the wheels through the bed of the truck. If we had touched that with a Chevy Silverado,
disintegrated?
it would just turn into a powdery dust. But yeah, that was a fun time when Billy got to push a truck out of the snow.
You are swole.
He went war mode on the truck.
Yeah.
Gremlin mode.
It was so fun. I mean, now that I'm finally out of it, it's just crazy.
What about the open sky?
It's enchanting. It's like you look at it and it's just so wide open, and you're just like, wow.
Yeah, he was saying, honestly, like when you look at the open sky and you see how big the western sky is, that's the reason that our forefathers decide to explore the West Coast because
Facts.
genetically,
go west.
genetically, it induces endorphins in your brain that make you want to explore. He's right.
Awe-inspiring.
Yeah. All right, Jake, your who's back?
My who's back, aside from the investigation and the tanking, is the Dolphins.
Oh, yes.
They hired a new head coach, Mike McDaniel. Watch that clip of he seems a very media-friendly guy.
Yes.
Big personality. Changed
He's
things
going to
up.
save Tua.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's big for you too.
Expect us.
So looks like it's an exciting hire.
Shout out Deadspin. They called it. Another white guy gets hired.
Well, so then Schefter tweeted it out, and he says Mike McDaniel, who identifies as biracial. Like why do you,
what?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have to put the identify
Yeah, no,
word
he
in?
just, yeah.
I think he's just biracial,
yeah.
right?
This is not a big deal. What are we doing here?
Yeah, but he seems like a cool guy.
Very cool.
I don't know
yeah.
anything about like what his responsibilities were on the Niners. All I know is that Kittle said like I want a clause in my contract saying that this guy's attached to me for the rest of his career. That's good enough for me.
So he's going to be a Dolphin, Kittle?
So Kittle is going to go to the Miami Dolphins.
Love that.
Wait, so Florida has recreational weed?
I think so.
I mean, they must.
I don't,
That was
I'm not
what
really
that was
brushed up
my
on my
big.
recreational weed.
That was big. My big
Laws.
takeaway.
I think they have recreational everything in Florida.
Oh wow, they don't. All right.
I don't
well,
know.
hopefully
I can look it up though.
he can figure that out. Well, he probably has a card, right?
Probably.
He probably can get weed other ways.
I'm pretty sure in Florida the law is like if you're not actively killing someone, then it's just chill. Just like try to get away with it. Don't make us do too much work.
That was the first thing when I saw it. I was like, oh wow, I didn't know Florida.
Medicinal, yes. Decriminalized, no.
Okay, so maybe he has his medicinal.
Legal status mixed.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, I actually like that hire. So
Yeah,
what do we
it's-
have left? Texans, Saints, and Vikings got Kevin O'Connell.
I think
So
that's it.
I'm actually very happy because I was afraid that Jim Harbaugh was going to go to the NFC North.
You
And
see who the front runner for the Texans is right now? Lovie Smith.
Lovie Smith and Josh McCown, I
Yeah.
think, as well.
It's
Yeah.
looking like
And then
McCown's
Eric-
not going to get it.
Okay. And then Eric Bieniemy in New Orleans
I think
is interviewing.
I feel like if you're Eric Bieniemy and you've been waiting for a good place to go, a place where you're set up to succeed, like New Orleans seems like a pretty good option.
Yes.
That's good for him.
Stable, yeah.
I'm a little bit upset that Harbaugh didn't go to the Vikings because it would have been so funny to watch how much he would have hated Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, and Dan Campbell.
Yeah, they would have fought.
Yes.
There would have been
incredible.
fights at midfield for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy that the Vikings didn't hire him because he's a really good coach and he would have it's going to be weird because the NFC, and we'll get into it more with Super Bowl week, but like Tom Brady just retired. Aaron Rodgers may go to the AFC. Who the fuck knows where he's going to end up? Like the NFC is going to be wide open for a little bit here.
Wait, I just realized McDaniel and Kevin O'Connell, I think, were also coaches on that 2013 Washington Redskins team.
Who? Josh McDaniels?
No,
No,
McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel.
Got it.
So I think that now, like, a sixth of the league or like a fifth of the league is now former coaches from that team. That sucks.
Also, bonus who's back, retirement. Shout out Joe West. Big guy. I know you're big.
Yes.
guy.
Oh, I can't believe we didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe West, all-time guy. Kevin O'Connell was not.
He was
on-
not? Okay,
No, he was
good,
not.
good.
He started his coaching career in 2015.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, Joe West. I'm gonna miss him.
Stare
I tweeted out a
downs.
couple clips. The Bumgarner stare downs, all time.
Nelson Cruz selfie and during the All-Star
Yeah, the selfie.
game.
I had the picture of him when he was signing autographs at Wrigley for little kids, not making the game about himself, just respecting it. Also, who's the guy he fell on top of when there was a play at the plate and
That
it
was
took him
so
like
good.
a minute to get off?
Well, he didn't even get off him.
Yeah.
He had to be helped off from behind, like pried off.
Rajai Davis.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss him so much. God damn it.
And his country albums.
He's the best. So
He's a great singer.
he's the one guy who like he made it all about himself, and I was like, it was actually kind of endearing because it's like he makes it so much about himself that you have to respect it.
You remember? Didn't he get hit with a throw to second base at one point?
Yeah, he
Just, like,
did a
lay down.
flex.
Yeah.
He did a flex, and then he also obviously had the
white armband.
white armband, so that people would stop being mean to umps across America.
All umps matter.
Yeah. Yes, good call though, Jake. All right, let's get to our interview with Chris Berman. Unbelievable interview. 80-minute interview. We went up to Connecticut. This is the interview that Bubba did sleep through, but that's okay. Because I know people were asking.
Yeah, well, it's like God bless the broken road that brought Bubba
Yeah.
this car.
It also was the perfect scenario for him that it was like immediate punishment. We're all's forgotten. Did your phone get fixed? No, his phone's still broken. That sucks a lot. Okay. Chris Berman, brought to you by our friends at Coors Light. Do you ever feel like you're always on? What do you do when you need a moment to chill? Well, crack open a Coors Light. Coors Light is mountain cold refreshment made to chill. Coors Light is cold lager, cold filtered, and cold packaged. It's literally made to chill. It's as crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rockies. Perfect for a moment to unwind. Coors Light is the beer I turn to when I'm sitting on my couch. How about this week in LA? We're going to have a couple Coors Light, maybe after the show right now. Coors Light is the one I choose when I need to unwind. So when you want to hit the reset button, reach for the beer that's literally made to chill, get Coors Light in the new look, delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/take. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. CoorsLight.com/take. Thank you to Coors Light, our wonderful, wonderful sponsor. We love Coors Light. We're going to be having some Blue Mountains all week and all weekend long. Super Bowl weekend. Nothing better. CoorsLight.com/take. Okay, here he is, the Schwam. Okay, we now welcome on a very, very, very special guest. Long time coming. It is the Schwam, Boomer, Chris Berman. We're very, very excited for this. This has been, like I said, a long time coming. An honor for us. I was thinking about it because I'm actually nervous for this interview. We've done a lot of interviews. We don't want to mess this one up. So I was like, what can
I'll do it for you.
Yeah, what could I start with though? Like, oh, hey, Schwam, tell us about 1979. I figured maybe an icebreaker. If you have the wallet, we could just start with the wallet.
I want to start with
that.
that.
Let's start with the wallet.
You got to understand, first of all, good, nice to be with you fellas. This has been a long time coming, and I appreciate I'll show you the wallet in a minute, but you don't get it right away. I appreciate really the respect that you've shown me, and I didn't know it so much in 16, 17, 18, but as time has gone on, and I don't know what I've done to deserve it. But in just playing back, and Derek and Josh, our PR mavens, sent me like the last 6 weeks so I could hear the past 2 minutes. Yeah. I'm going to give you 2, and they're like throwaway lines. They're not going circles the way, I mean, I get it, and then all the, I should have started the answer with a whoop, and then you're set, right? But
we'll do some whoops.
Yeah. No, okay.
Yeah, I have many questions about whoops.
But there were 2 of them. One was when the Jags lost to, or they won, but they still clinched the number 1 overall draft pick, as first reported by Adam Schefter.
Yeah. Yes.
I lost it. Like, that's like a throwaway. It was like, okay, that's funny. And then Chris Boswell with the Steelers. I don't know if you used it before. Chris kicked a field goal, or Chris Boswell, New Mexico, the UFO. Like, these guys this is another level here.
Well, here's what I'll say, because this is out of respect for you. And reading everything, your nicknames would always be spur of the moment, like pop in your head.
Pretty much.
It takes us a while to do those, so that shows how hard it is to do and how good you are at it. Because we sit there every Sunday night for about an hour and a half going through all the games, and everything I've read about you, it's like if the nickname comes in 30 seconds, it's there. If not, we go to the next guy.
Pretty much.
That's incredible.
Back in the day in baseball, I would do the 2:30 in the morning show, and so you'd see a name and the box score or whatever. Like, okay, what can I? But you don't sit there. Usually they might have to have like 1 beer, not on a work day, but like, okay, 1. But if it doesn't, or let's say if you guys wrote in or threw me a couple, or guys on the crew or women on the crew, hey, what about if I laugh? We do it. It's good to have ghost rates. So here it is. This is really slimmed down. This is nothing.
It looked like you went on a diet.
Well,
what happened?
You had a bad week in gambling last week.
I'm supposed to say it, right?
You lost some money on the Niners.
It's a new program. Yeah. But no, this is, it's well oiled, but no, this is like,
that's a full snake.
Half, if not a third of what it was. But this is you got to understand. I used to have cards of everybody in here, but this is pre-internet, pre-phone. So I had commissioners, senators, everyone was in here.
It's the Schwam. That wallet is the Schwam.
Can I hold it?
It's
this
I just
one.
want to feel. I just
look
want
at
to
it.
feel
It's a full snake. It's a full snake that it took to make.
There's
that
a few 50s in there. Go ahead and take it.
It's
okay.
got some heft to it.
But
it's
not.
That's nice.
I'm telling you, dieting. Wow, there you go. That'll cost you 2 Hawaiian.
When you pulled it out in 60 minutes, though, one of the funniest things.
I didn't know that was happening. And it's like, one time I was on Leno and I forgot it was because I didn't want to leave it in the back. in my side pocket, just like, it's huge, right? And that was the side being interviewed on. I was like, I looked at it later, like, are you are you kidding? Looked like I had like a 20-pound weight in there. But there's your wallet. So they
I love
came
it.
all the way to Connecticut to see the wallet. Now,
Yeah, it's
I will
interview
give
over.
one thing and then I'll be done. So nicknames.
Okay.
So our maven, Josh over here, has started, Big Cat, so Galarraga.
Yep.
Maybe others have called you that. I don't know. But when he played, of course, came up with Montreal, as so many of them did. What a great farm. So I started calling him Le Grand Chat, which is the big cat.
Ooh.
And he liked it. I don't know how much
that.
French he knew growing up, but it'd be much Le Grand Chat.
Uh-huh.
So if you're Le Grand Chat, now I've got to do something French also. It's not a direct translation, but Le Raconteur. I mean, it's not a comment,
like that.
but it's a storyteller. It's a purveyor of information. So Le Grand Chat, Le Raconteur. You didn't know we were doing French.
I
I
like
did not.
that.
Je t'aime. Is that French?
Yeah.
Did I just tell you that I loved you?
You did, but it's
Oh,
okay.
that's a Freudian
It's your Le
slip. Yeah.
Raconteur. You can say whatever you want.
Amazing.
Speaking of the nicknames, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but we're friends with Booger. We love Boog.
Oh,
He's come on
the
the
best.
show several times.
Has he?
Me all the time.
Makes
for
fun
being
of Big
fat.
Cat's
Yeah.
weight. He's in a bicycle gang with me. And we decided one time we're going to try to incept you with a nickname because he watches the games with you sometimes on Sundays,
All the
right?
time. We watch all of them.
So we tried to figure how can we get inside Chris Berman's head? What is a nickname that we can throw out that he might actually pick up on? So we told him that the first time Jalen Hurts threw a touchdown, he should say "Hurts so good," and it made it to the air. And you said it.
Of course.
That was from us via Booger, our gift to you on the air.
And we loved it. We used it.
You probably would have gotten there on your own.
Yeah.
Because it felt like the Cougar. That's right up Boomer's alley.
Oh, I mean, John Cougar Melon Ball. Yeah, I mean, that's a great song. But then later on, like playoff game, Love Hurts. That was Nazareth. I'm going back. I mean, again, a lot of these are predating you guys.
Oh,
but they're on
we
the
know
radio.
a lot of the songs. We
They're
know
on
a
the
lot
radio.
of yeah. So
So thank you for that.
Hey, no, the honor was all ours.
Hurts so good.
Yeah.
He had a few games. They got into the playoffs.
Yeah,
and
I
then
think
Nice
he's a
little
fine
run.
quarterback.
Yeah.
I think when he's playing within the system that they've got there, he can be good.
okay.
yeah.
Did you see him dodge the stands falling apart at FedEx Field though?
Yes.
That showed me composure.
Not only
he almost
composure,
got hit.
but a sense of where the rush is coming from.
Yes, absolutely. He knew exactly where it was coming from. So I was reading before we sat down with you, right? I knew the nicknames. I knew everything. I didn't realize the story, and I don't know how often you told it, that the nicknames almost went away for a little bit.
Oh, they did.
You had a producer who said, cut it with the
Oh.
nicknames. And then George Brett saved it. Can you tell that story?
Yeah,
It's incredible.
Well, so in the early days, look, when I mean, again, a lot of your viewers, listeners, and you have a million or what, nobody imagines your age group, even in your 40s, that, cable TV, I'm going to pay $20 for 36 channels. Why would I do that? I have to sleep. We didn't even have tape machines then, right? You have to sleep. You have to eat. You got to go to work. How could I? At any rate. So who knows who's watching? My first 4 years, I did The Late Show, which was 2:30 a.m. It's 11:30 in California, and it's 8:30 in Hawaii. So a lot of people watching.
Yep.
My friends, and at the time, and I don't care if you're up late, even if that's your regular deal. Stuff just comes out, right? So a couple came out from back in college at Brown. Like, this is only 4 years later. I'm on TV, or 3. And
What was the first one?
it was either Frank Tanana Daiquiri
Yep.
or very good pitcher, really good pitcher, and John Mayberry, really good hitter, RFD. And I said one or two of them, or maybe both, in a segment, because they're both in the American League at the time, California. Play. And we go to a break, and I get in my ear, what was that? Now, that's not where you were going.
Yeah.
They just came out. It wasn't a plan. It just came out. It's 2:45 in the morning. Frank Tanana Daiquiri. I've been calling him that for 4 years, just not on national TV. And although it's 3, it's late. It was okay. Nobody got hurt. And the cameramen laughed. And so the next night or two, we did a few more. At any rate, now we go about 5 years. And I probably have 800 of them because it's baseball. You're trying to embellish a little bit because it's every night, and not all the games were video. A lot of them was Kansas City 5, Seattle 3. for 30 seconds.
Jeez.
Okay, so don't make jokes and take information away. Don't do that. But if I'm going to say Frank Tananadakari struck out 13, it cost me a half a second.
Right.
It didn't, hey, here's a funny joke. When they'll tell me about the game, please. See, so it was okay. So we had a new executive producer, high up, name, it doesn't matter anymore. Like early September in 85, when, no, you can't use him anymore. I've been doing it for 5 years. Like, whoa. Everybody likes him. Well, we're trying to, he had no real reason. Probably it wasn't his idea, which is usually the way it goes, right? Well, what do you mean? Like, no, you got to stop. There's 3 weeks left in the season. First of all, if he's any smart, you do it in November. Maybe nobody knows, and then they don't come back.
Right.
So, okay, so that's about 3 weeks. I'm telling a little too long a story, but the only way I could have my own fun was Mookie Wilson, then was William Wilson, and Sparky Anderson was manager of the Texans with George Anderson, and Whitey Herzog, I called him Durrell Herzog.
So you cut all the nicknames, even the ones that were
no,
yours.
he didn't tell me that.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, right. I like his silent protest.
Durrell Herzog. Who's that? Like, well, he manages the Cardinals.
He said no nicknames.
I'm just doing what you told me to do.
Even Babe Ruth once I called the George. So, but whatever. That's my own. He didn't know. So the Royals, George Brett is a great friend of mine, and he loved the nicknames. That's how we met. And Game 1 of the ALCS, remember, there's only West and the East. They played Toronto, I think, and George Graham was covering it. And George Brett he's George Brett, right? And here are the Royals. And so there's 30 people, and our George Graham, wonderful person, one a great professional, great friend, said, George, can I get, and of course, at ESPN, I get, but wait, are we rolling? Yeah. But wait a minute. What's the story with my man not being able to use his nicknames? Well, these are all the baseball writers. It wasn't out there. It was no decree. It's 1985. And a couple of the TV writers were there. Because this is George Brett. Like, if you're going to interview a Royal, it's George Brett. Right? And by the way, they won the World Series that year. But he said, I'll do the interview, but this is BS. I mean, you
can swear. It's bullshit.
Well, no. This is George Brett.
Yeah.
And, of course, our management thought I put him up to it, or thought George Graham was involved. No, I didn't. The next April, they were back, and he was gone.
There you go.
He fought the law, and the law won.
It's just.
I'm sorry.
It's an incredible story.
It's
that
innocuous.
George Brett, and
it's innocuous.
That also speaks to your relationship with guys, and being able to be in the media, but also be friends with some of these guys. And it was like, I just read that story. I was like, George Brett saved Boomer and the Schwam. He did it.
Well, he saved the nickname.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't try. He was pissed.
Yeah, he was mad.
This is game 1 of the. It's like, don't worry about that. Worry about what the starting pitcher for Dave Stieb or whoever was going to throw. No, he was more PO'd about that.
Because he was mad he also didn't have a nickname, right, when you first met him.
Correct. He goes, how come we don't have a lot of nicknames, the Royals? George, are you kidding me? Like, he stuck out his head. George Brett, how come the Royals don't have a lot of? I mean, I don't know, George. Like, I can't call you Wonder Brett. You've been established too long. I'm not going to go halfway through your career, Johnny Bench. Now I'm calling him Park Bench. No, too late.
Right.
So, and Quisenberry is hard to get, right?
Yes.
So I don't know. And then he said, what's your nickname? I said, well, not really, because you'll have one after the game. It was a pennant game. It was like the last week of a season in 82. He had the winning hit. And here's, again, interview in the locker room. He's describing the pit. Well, it was low and away. He goes, there he is, Ethel Merman Berman. Like, you just played like a big game. Like, who cares? Uh-huh. He's my guy.
Amazing.
So, he's my guy.
How did you get the name Boomer?
Okay, that's and my first year, late, one of a man that became a legend at our place, who became the head of all the technical, named Chuck Pagano, local boy here in Waterbury, Connecticut, who became executive VP just because he worked hard and did his job. He goes, God, you're deep voice too. You're loud on these highlights. We're going to call you the Boomer. Like, that came from a coworker, if you will. Mm-hmm. And it stuck. And You know, we've had arguments, Esiason, David Wells,
Yeah.
you know, et cetera, which was the bigger boomer, you know, keep me out of that. But so it came from a coworker who worked the overnight shift with me, and it stuck. You know, like in the early days, maybe even in your world, your first 3, 4, something really worked, you weren't planning on it, you go with it.
Yeah.
And it stuck.
Yeah. What about the Schwam?
Well, that was mine. That was
I
that
love the
was,
Schwab.
I'm picking games. Well, so now it's 1979. I start October 79. Was football season. I do the late. It's a sign off the first 6 months. Like good night. Well, maybe not Friday night. Maybe not Friday night. That we went neither here nor there. I said I'm gonna pick 5 games. You know, against the spread of the week. You know, you just said things like, it'll be closer than expected. You know, you didn't. I mean, this is 1979, 1980, 81. There's all sorts of ways. They're going to win much more handily than you think. You know, I mean, duh. You know, what am I telling you? And I put the score up.
Oh, yeah.
Always put the score up so you could figure. And it was never right on. It was always at least a field goal one way or the other.
Right.
So I left no doubt as to what I was picking. You know, and then I gave the record with spread.
And it would have the little thing next to it, because I remember as a
Yeah.
kid being like, "Wait, he just picked like the Cowboys, but why is the thing next
the 49ers,
to
'cause they're
to the
gonna
Dolphins?"
cover-
Like what? And I always loved
low
the scores. The scores, like you know, you're the only guy that would be like, "All right, Cowboys are going to beat the Niners 19-11." Like what? Where's that score?
Or a defensive game, I go 3-2.
Yeah,
You know, I'm not telling you to bet the under necessarily. It's just 3-2.
it's 3-2.
Yeah.
Or one I had, I don't know, you know, like 74-70. Like just
You know what to
doing it.
do.
Like you get the point, right? Like that's not the.
But it's a wink without hitting you over the head with it, which
Yeah.
I think sometimes the audience feels like they're involved in. They have an inside joke with you, something that's understood,
Right.
but you're not explicitly telling them, which in turn will make the audience like you more because it's like, oh, I identify with this guy. We speak the same language.
Wasn't doing it with that in mind, but I think that's true. And another thing behind the scenes, I mean, we're primitive technically. I mean, and not only 79, but even 82, 83. I told audio, I told Chiron, we called it, which is the graphics, you have fun in this segment. And we did it live too. So Tampa Bay, put them in orange. Oh, it's not our format. Like we put them in orange. You know, we're picking the 49ers, put them in red. That was like a big deal for the person doing graphics. Mm-hmm. Put me in reverb, you know, when I come to this game, which was, you don't do that. Like it sounds like a complete mistake. But when I go pick this wild upset, do that. So the audio guy would fire. You know, it's just 3 o'clock in the morning on a Friday. And they're involved. And a couple times I'd have the camera like move, like wave it around. We're not really supposed to do that. But this is our segment. And so everybody, my guys and ladies who we're working with, we all felt involved. And I felt that was, and the viewers, obviously.
Yeah, and it's I mean the one thing that I think that you're so good at and why people are so drawn to you is that sports are supposed to be fun, and you always had fun, and that's the thing to me is like if the person's having fun, you feel it, and you know that they're enjoying this and they're not taking it too seriously, and that's what comes across.
Don't you believe that? I mean, this is not necessarily where you want to change our jobs. But if you're walking down the street and someone's digging a ditch, I'm making it up, whistling and listening to music, let's say has a boom box so you can hear, they're having a good, you might even stop and watch for a couple minutes. Not say, good, I want to be a ditch digger, but okay,
Yeah.
I'm in.
Well,
Geez, it's
give me one
sports. It's
turn.
not brain surgery.
Right.
It's supposed to be fun. Watching sports is fun. Watching people do highlights about sports, that's supposed to be fun too. I think just like the contagious enjoyment that you brought to it influenced everybody else that came up watching it. I think we've gotten away a little bit from that in the last few years too, where people think that sports, it always has to mean something bigger. And while sometimes that's very true, sometimes sports are just like, that's what people use to blow off steam. They want to enjoy themselves. It can be a break from something. And I think sometimes, we have to remind ourselves of that. You're a good inspiration for that. We've always appreciated that about you.
I'm not alone with it, but here's what I would say. So for 2/3 of our career, For example, primetime. Let's just do that. Not even the baseball sports center. Primetime began in '87, and until like 2005, pick a year, 2008, you saw 3 games.
Yeah.
You live in New York, Chicago, Washington. The Arizona-Seattle game that was 48-45, you might have seen one drop in because it was a 90-yard bomb in the middle of the game you were watching, the Cowboys, right? That's the best game of the day. Here's 5 minutes. So, and do it. This is where they make a mistake now. Everyone assumes, and they are. You hear about, there was a play, and you call it on your phone in 1 second. That's cool. But even at the end of the day, when you know everything, here's a meal. Serve me the whole meal of week 12.
Yeah.
For example, or even all the baseball, or pick your sport. Give me the meal and those doing the highlights. I've stayed with this 42.5 years. I am old. I have socks older than you guys. I keep them for floods. But
What about the ties? What's your oldest tie?
Ties I got about 300. You know.
When was the last time you bought a new tie, though?
Well, I kept buying them up till COVID. Now, then I looked. I went like the one I wore this week. Like, damn, I haven't seen this in 10 years. I love this tie. It's like I forgot it was in there. You know, and so some of them are 80s where. Even a hot color, like just a color like purple or turquoise was woo. I still got those. But
Did a producer ever say like, hey, boom, that tie, like, it's too much?
Well, it can be, but never wore the ridiculous.
Right.
Maybe I'm doing a Giants-Dodgers game and I wear a palm tree tie. It stop.
Right.
But back to the people should not assume that everyone watching has seen the game or the highlights. Therefore, you owe it to the viewer to do them like they're live, even though it says, and it's going to be, and he's going to leap over a tackler. Wait till he jumps and then say it. Don't say it. Hey, he's going to leap over a tackler and score a touchdown. Well, he's still on the 15.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Give it to you, the viewer, like it's happening live, even if it's a game that you've seen. Like a playoff game, we've all watched them, right?
Yeah.
Do it anyway.
So I
do it anyway.
Yeah.
I also grew up watching George Michael and the Sports Machine out of DC, and he was an awesome broadcaster in his own right. He did it the other way, though. He would always say the result before the highlight.
That's okay. Result of game is okay. I mean the play.
Yeah.
He wouldn't say he's going to leap over a tackler at the 10 and then score.
Right.
That's what I mean.
Right.
Oh, you could. That's okay because that's fine. George was great, as was for highlights. I mean, Cosell is the obvious. They taped him. Our fastest 3 in the day was live. Like, you could make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
Live?
Did you ever screw up real bad?
Live? Halftime? I mean, I used to have a thing with my director, Jeff Wynn, like, just keep the puck in front of us, And at the end of one, if it was like, I think they got one by us, like.
But it's so true about prime time, and it's hard to explain it now because we're both 37. We grew up in the 90s. We remember prime time was the thing on Sunday night. You sat down, and you're like, I want to watch every highlight. It's hard to explain now to kids who are 25 or younger because they've always had Red Zone.
Right.
But it was it. You would like Sunday night. You sit down, you watch Boom and Tej, and they tell you everything that happened in the NFL on Sunday.
I'd watch it. Had nothing to do with us doing it. And Tommy is, like my best friend. I mean, we worked almost 30 years together. We talk every week. He lives in Cincinnati. He's pretty fired up right now. But primetime was a gift that we got to do it, that ESPN got to do it, that then he wasn't the president yet, but at the time Steve Bornstein said, I'm doing it. He invented it when ESPN got Sunday night games the last 8 weeks in 87. That was like a big deal, ESPN 87. World Series would be over. It was about Halloween, and then the last 8 weeks was Sunday night, but I didn't invent it. We're inventing this show that we have the right to show as many highlight minutes as we can in that 1 hour. And he also told Pete Rozelle and we're going to throw it, and I got the guy to do it. And that's how it happened. We can't on the Plus show and on the championship and then after the Super Bowl thing, but the regular, because NBC has Sunday night, when they got that in 06, they have the rights. They could make that show primetime,
Right.
They have the rights to do it. I'm not saying they should or they shouldn't, but they don't. And we can't. Remember, we used to be on, Tommy and me and Trent, like we did it, but we were limited in time. But primetime was, okay, we have commercials. If you can stuff 12 pounds of blanket into a 10-pound bag, just go ahead and do it and run 40 minutes of highlights, say your name, and just roll them.
Yeah, and that's what it was. And it was, I mean, would you say that was getting prime time, and that move in 1987 was the biggest, like, thing for your career? And because, like, that was so huge for ESPN, I'd imagine, getting those NFL
Biggest thing we
highlights.
ever did.
Yeah.
The fact that Pete Rozelle, one of the smartest people, I got to know him. He liked me for whatever reason. I think he knew I like football. Just like I appreciate out of you guys. I like young guys that like football.
Yeah.
That's really that simple.
That's one test. It's
And
like
that's what you guys do.
it's a
You like
Tinder app,
football,
yeah.
you know football, you watch football, and you'll admit, like, hey, I didn't know that. Fine.
I like football.
You
That's
like
it.
football. It's not that hard. So
friends.
We love football. Yeah, we're good. But so Pete, at any rate, Pete, the fact that Cable, this is a big step in 87. But if the NFL rubber stamped it, so the biggest thing for us, to everyone who worked there, we ain't going anywhere now as a network. We're here. We always thought that. Not always in 81, but by 85, 86, we're doing pretty good. Well, we're here now. And then that show, my favorite thing that I've ever done.
Yeah.
How could it not be?
Yeah.
And I was lucky to be in the, I would watch it as a fan. And why wouldn't you? You
Yeah.
want to see what happened in these, even the horrible games. You can't, there's no highlights you could show on the network, a drop-in of 8 guys squealed pigging the ball, and you don't show that. Well, we do.
Yeah. And the music.
Yeah.
The
And
music
then,
is everything.
The natural thing that you would say if somebody was doing the squealed pig play, that would be a whoop situation, wouldn't it?
Yes.
No. The rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, and fumbling would be part of it. The whoop came from Barry Sanders.
Ooh.
Okay.
So that it came as a whoa. There's no other way to describe Barry's. I think his ankles were bionic. Tommy and I both think this because there's no way you could swivel as a human being like this.
Speed.
And so that was the whoop. That was more Barry's moves that come from Barry Sanders.
Uh-huh.
He's the impetus for that. And now it's anybody that kind of does that. Yes, now because the sound, I get stopped all the time, like 15, 20 years, whoop, like say it, whoop, they go nuts. But it's, so now I've moved it to the squeal pig, but it was started with Barry Sanders, and of course a Lamar Jackson type of player you would do it with. But that's where it came from, out of respect for Barry.
So what is the secret to a good whoop?
I've
heard you hit somewhere.
It was
it
one on
bounces
a
off the back
Washington
wall
player,
and
wasn't
comes
it?
back.
Was it McKissick?
Yes.
He left. It was like down at the right somewhere.
Yeah, it
early
was.
in the year.
It was against the Falcons.
It was like early October or something.
You let out this whoop that I swear.
Oh, yeah,
you
it
could hear it.
echoed.
It bounced off the back wall of the studio and came back to you.
Yeah.
I heard it twice in highlights.
I was inspired by his leap. Like he took a 5-yard. It was like someone trying to do the pole vault, in the Olympics. Like he's running a long way to take this leap. It wasn't just a little leap because the tackler went low. I don't even think the tackler went that low. He's a little guy.
Yeah.
So he went. It was like the first. It was at halftime, right?
Yep.
So it was the first real whoop of the season that I could crank out on a halftime play. I do think of that every now and then. Early in the year, let's put more ingredients in it a little bit.
You got to warm up the pipes, right?
Yeah.
You got to warm it up first.
Yeah, it was not the first
You got
play.
to
It was
prime
like
the
2
pump
minutes
a little
in.
bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
do you like open up your chest? Is it from the diaphragm? Is it?
Just like McKissick did. I took a running leap.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, even you doing those little whoops for Barry Sanders, like we do it, but when you do it, it's like, oh yeah, that's
No,
just
but you're
wrong.
doing it. You like it.
Yeah,
It's
but like
good.
the
It's
way you
public
just
domain.
did that, the
Cat,
little
it's
whoop,
public
whoop,
domain.
whoop, whoop, like it's not the same. It's
public
only
domain.
you.
We also love the Raiders. I try to do the Raiders when we run the scores back. I do it as much as I
You
can.
do a good job. I've heard it.
Thank you so much. That means the world to me. But when I do it, I feel like it takes my my entire body about 2 minutes to recover from it. I don't know if that's something.
It does. It hurts.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
like.
Well, that really is. It's taken on a life of its own. And everybody loves that. And Scott, of course, Van Pelt runs it. I mean, he has my best couple, and he has it on a button. Even if they're not playing, I think he presses it. It was really an ode to Al Davis, who really liked us. This is Al's voice in the 80s when I met him first couple times. You know why I root for ESPN? Because you're the underdog. Just like that. Okay.
Yeah.
The Raiders. And they were winning all the time then. Of course, you heard him all the Raiders. So that's really an ode to Al. So a lot of these are ode to Barry, Al. But the Raiders now, everybody loves the long. That again, that's
great.
That's a Louis Tiant windup. Okay, that's a Raiders. And I didn't even. I'm
Right. Yeah. You're just taking batting practice.
I haven't had
right
a
now.
sip of water in a half an hour.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna. So I'll be ready the next time you ask me about the Raiders.
So all right. So the whoop, the Raiders. We got to do circle the wagons because that's. I mean, that picture too of you holding the big Bills jersey.
Well.
And we're honorary members of Bills Mafia. We love
Right
the
on.
city of Buffalo. We love Josh Allen. But there's just something about no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. It just
Well, that team of the late 80s and 90s were, I mean, they never won a Super Bowl, but they only wanted to go to 4 straight. So say no more. And it's Hall of Famers. And obviously Jim Kelly and Andre Reed and Thurman Thomas and Bruce Smith. And, you know, they may have others. And Cornelius Bennett was a great player. We could go on Marv Levy's in the Hall of Fame. Bill Polian, one of the great executives of all times in the Hall of Fame. Ralph Wilson, the owner's in the Hall of Fame. I mean, and it's Buffalo.
right.
You know, it's other than Green Bay, it's about the smallest now. I mean, it's the Bills, and this is the city in Western New York. They asked for nothing. I started picking them in '88. They were horrible for the whole decade. They thought I was out of my mind. They started 4-0, and I got to the championship game and lost to the Bengals. I actually thought these Bengals, except they've now gone to the Super Bowl, reminded me of the '88 Bills. Like I wasn't sure they were going to get past Kansas City, but they've already announced we're here for a while. Like we're really good.
Yeah.
You know, I actually said that. So I forget what game it was, and I just cranked it out on prime time. No one, you know, looking right in the camera. Like, no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, and it became a war chant. Even the years they were terrible. I mean, up until Josh here and Coach McDermott, et cetera. Not a lot of great.
Right.
But it just became so much fun. And I don't want to do this, but I guess I will tell the story since you brought it up. So if you're a rock and roll singer, let's say, because I saw Billy Joel in Fenway, and then you're singing Piano Man, and everybody knows the words, right? He played at Wrigley. He played all these places, any arena. And you get halfway through, and then you lay out, and you hear, if you're Billy Joel, like hear them sing every word. And he's like, oh my God. Like this is. So when Thurman Thomas had his number retired, it was only about 4 years ago. It was on a Monday night, and they asked me, Thurman, would I come up and the Bills? It's a quick, I'm going to speak real quick. Someone else is going to say something for a minute. Thurman's going to speak. It's halftime. And I got up for 20 seconds. I mean, again, the place is packed. They're playing the Patriots when the Patriots would still beat them a lot. They played well that night, Buffalo. They weren't ready yet, you know. I think Josh was a rookie. Okay, so I think, yeah, he was. And I said, okay, Buffalo, you know where we're going here. We're doing it on 3. And like this, and there's 70,000. I went, no one. And then I stopped. And I heard, circles the wagons, like the Buffalo Bills. Wow. That's Billy Joel singing Piano Man.
Incredible.
It was really, my relation, in my 43 years, the relationship that I've ended up by accident because I'm on ESPN and the Bills and it's Buffalo and the players, the team, the organization, the players, and the city 30 years later. It's the most rewarding relationship I've gotten through my job.
They're great people.
Yeah,
They're great people.
we've experienced
They
something
ask
similar.
nothing. They ask for nothing.
Yeah, every time we go, it's like this place. They're just
Right.
so nice to us. So you did do. I have to ask the 7-year stretch. The Schwam predicted the Niners versus Bills, And for people who don't they're like, oh, he was just putting on 7 years in a row. Either the Niners or the Bills went to the Super Bowl, and you predicted Niners-Bills every year to begin the season. You were so close a couple times.
Close this year.
You're close this year.
I mean, I hadn't really thought of it.
It's gotta
Hey,
happen.
you could get it.
Yeah, the
I
Schwab
picked them
Bowl.
12 years in a row. And here's part. Well, I'm loyal. I'm a Taurus too, so I'm loyal and I'm stubborn. But the Niners were my relationship professionally in the '80s, and I can call a lot of those guys. Obviously, the same with the Bills. So when the Bills got good, '88, I started it then. I did 12 years around. The first 7, one or the other. Never the same time. There was always Alvin
Giants,
Harper running a slant at Candlestick. There was always, 89, the Bills kind of had the bickering Bills, and they didn't make it. But we were close so many times. I have one of the balls. They used to send us the balls, the 4 possible the team matchups for our championship Sunday countdown. Actually, the one I saved was 92. That was the one that was going to happen. Actually, that was the Frank Reich year.
Yep.
They almost lost. But then the Niners, Dallas was up and coming, but not really yet. And Aikman hit Alvin Harper on like a 70-yard slant post. And I have that ball. I bring it out every now and then,
That's amazing.
Bills versus Niners Super Bowl at the Rose Bowl. Got to keep that.
That's perfect.
We're going to get back to Chris Berman in a second, but before we do, I want to talk to you guys about our great friends at Dat Chat. We love Dat Chat. Dat Chat has been a solid sponsor. I personally use Dat Chat. I know a lot of people here at Barstool do as well. Dat Chat is an awesome social networking and messaging app. A bunch of us use it. It gives you the ultimate level of privacy, so you can message and share with the people you know the way that you normally do. You can send a bunch of drunk texts that you regret because you can self-destruct all of them, pretend like it never happened. If you want to talk about something private with your girlfriends or guy friends, if you're planning a bachelorette party or a bachelor party, you can use that because they don't allow screenshotting on their app. It's solid. We love Dat Chat. Go download it right now. Make sure to join any of the show pages that we have in partnership with them. I know that on Macrodosing, we use that Dat Chat page a lot. You can also chat about the tea with publicity, cutting stems. Out and About uses it. Check them out. Dat Chat. Download Dat Chat for iPhone and Android in the app stores right now, or go to datchat.com/barstool to get more info and download Dat Chat today. Now here's more Chris Berman. Can we go back just a little bit to before you even became a broadcaster? Because I read that you were a history major in college.
Brown, yeah.
At
Interesting.
Brown, right?
Yep. I like it.
So
yes.
what inspired you? Like, why did you decide to study history? And then what made you change into, pursuing broadcasting as a full-time gig?
Well, Abe Lincoln wasn't a good football player, so I had to move on. That's the funny answer.
But
although he probably could have been.
You have interviewed presidents too.
Probably great tight end in the red zone.
Well, Abe, Abe, post, a tight end, just throwing the ball. He was good. No. So to answer your question seriously, Brown. So a little different in the '70s. Brown had a really good. I always wanted to do this, Le Raconteur. I always wanted to do this professionally. I thought it would be cool. But I also didn't, I'm not saying right or wrong, didn't the journalism school, no good. Don't get me wrong. No, I'm fortunate enough to get into Brown. I love history. I'm going to do it. I wrote 40-page papers. I'm a pretty good writer. I mean, I don't mean like as in a novel, but Brown had a really good radio station, 50,000 watts. So back then, it wasn't so much, I'm not going to take a course in it. You do it on your own. Like going to college, anything. I think I want to go into drama. I want to do plays. I want to do this. Do it on your own. If you find you're not spending the time doing it, that's probably not really what you want to do. And I became the voice of Brown, the Bruins football and basketball, et cetera. So it wasn't like a change. I knew history was just doing it while I was there. And so my first job was a little radio station in Rhode Island right out of college for about a year. And then a little radio station right near here in Waterbury, Connecticut. And then I got on, I don't know how, because I had Didn't have the full, but I had you got the 70s
Yeah, the
mustache,
yeah.
and you
got
have
nothing.
my hair.
I got the Troy Aikman.
Huh?
I got the Troy Aikman. I'm face bald.
Well-
it's never coming in.
No,
Yeah.
but late 70s. I had this, and I had hair to, we it's what we look like. Not like I was anything. What are you trying to prove? Well, I'm trying to look like the guy right next to me. So, and I got on TV in Hartford just the weekends. $23 on Saturday night and $23 on Sunday night. Hartford. I'm not talking about Presque Isle, Maine. I'm talking about Hartford. $23 after minimum. Great. And I was on for 3 months. So I'm just 24. I'm kind of ahead of the curve a little. I mean, I wasn't really good, but I'm on.
It's not bad. You're
Yeah.
doing
I'm
Hartford.
on.
That's a decent sized market.
I'm
for you at
on.
20,
Well,
yeah.
only because they didn't. The second job was we're the UHF station. We didn't have a full-time second gig, so they just needed somebody to come in on Saturday and Sunday night. I'm your guy. And then ESPN was just starting, and I said, I'm not even going to send you a tape, and I'm pretty raw, but go look. And I mean, I know that's not the question you asked me, but it was. I always knew I wanted to do it. I love doing history. I set out to see if it would work. And then we got on ESPN in October 1st, 1979 with 3 months. Had ESPN been 3 years in existence, not 10, 3 years, never would have hired me. Not on that experience. No way.
So as you were getting ESPN off the ground, how close did it come to failing right off the bat? Were there ever any times where you were like, I don't know if this concept can work?
I mean, the ESPN as a concept.
Yeah.
Well, I was too young to worry about that. So, but to answer your question, because I've certainly had a lot of time in retrospect to think about it. We had Getty Oil was our benefactor, and how that came together, LA-ish, I don't know, but they were making money, and they were in it. We knew they'd give us a couple of years. None of this trickled down to me. I mean, look, I'm going home at 3:45 in the morning. They didn't get me on the hot phone and say, well, what do you think? What do you think we should tell our investors tomorrow?
Right.
I wasn't in that loop, but a year in, I thought, this is a good idea. Who knows if cable's going to do this, which we didn't know, and who knows if we're going to do this, which we didn't know. But I think there's people, just for us, there are people out there, well, here, you're two of them. There are people out there like me, because I'm running into people more on the West Coast like, hey, you're the late guy. Not ad nauseum, but people are watching, and people don't all work 9 to 5. Not that they ever did, but now we're in the 80s. The restaurant people, they come home at 12. I don't mean out of a bender or anything. Just I'm putting something on for 2 hours. It's great.
Yep.
And you realize that there's all sorts of folks who are like us that aren't 9 to 5. They're not asleep at 10 o'clock. So give them a shot. So I thought it was a good idea, but if you're drawing one of those graphs like we all had in school, or Ross Perot tried to run president on, cable in the 80s was a rocket ship.
Yeah.
But I've said this before. We followed cable's coattails, but they kind of followed ours a little. And CNN was, I give them the nod, on MTV, 79, 80, 82. So now you have sports, you have news, and you have music, and you're checking into a hotel in Portland, Oregon in 1986, and if they had some sort of, you got all three. That's your hometown station, even though you live in Chicago or Washington or wherever you are. Mm-hmm. Oh, I get them here. They're pretty good. So we had a feeling it was a good idea, and cable was like this. So who knew? I didn't have that kind of knowledge to predict that. Not even the Swami could have predicted that cable
Right.
TV was going to be a rocket ship.
Did anybody ever back the Brinks truck up for you? Anyone
For
ever?
me?
Yeah, try to get you out?
Yeah. So, compare to Briggs truck. We're still cable, but so we started in 79, 89. So that's 10 years. So NBC came pretty hard. And it was a real, I'm loyal, I wouldn't say to a fault, but I'm loyal as hell, but I don't mind saying I was making in the, I don't know, great. I mean, one's 150, 160, somewhere in there, not two. They essentially offered 4 times. So this went on for like 5 months. Not bad, because I had about 7 months to go, but this was going to break the mold of what we do. I mean, it's the same as real life. Some teams that can't afford it, right?
Yeah.
Like in baseball, let's say, right?
Right.
Hey, we're cable. Well, we're all right, but I said, Steve Bornstein, basic is, I went to Brown, I can add. Don't fault me for this. It's not a, but in the end, I said, you don't have to match this. You have to get within a 9-iron. And I don't know what that means. And he's not a golfer. My 9-irons suck, but, and they did. That was the best decision I ever made. Because, and that's really, I have one other interesting story that is more of a life story. No, I don't tell very often, but so back to that one. We got the NFL in '87. If I went there, I would be waiting to be the NFL guy behind Costas was doing at the time. Well, I'm doing that, and I'm doing it for an audience, and I'm doing it every day. So, and yeah, they had the Olympics, and this NBC, and they had this net. So in the end, you don't have to match, but I can't stay. Yes. So that was the Brinks truck. Other than that, not really. Now here's the interesting one. Chris. As I look back at life, you know how we look at life and always wonder, if I had done this, or if this had happened, how would my life have gone? I mean, you could do that with your family. My wife, there was somebody else, or there was nobody else, or I might have taken that job and we wouldn't have gotten married, whatever it is, right? Even now, I'm talking about life decisions. Mm-hmm. So San Francisco Giants are, of all, they're the number one. 7 years old, Willie Mays. Okay? You don't have to say anymore, right? 1962, he's in the World Series. I'm 7 years old. He's Willie Mays. I grew up in Connecticut. He plays for San Francisco. I'm a Giant fan. And you're a little kid, you know what a Giant is. Like, that's, a Giant, right? It's Willie Mays. Pretty good, right? So that's my goals coming out of college. Pie in the sky. Maybe be Brent Musburger, which I'm not saying I've become, but I had the job. But one was, I'd like to do the Giants. And the owner of the team, that was named Bob Lurie, great guy, still around. I mean, he doesn't own the team, but he's wonderful. San Francisco, upper 80s now, I think. Christmas cards, and I got a call from his office in '88. The Giants are playing the 3 games at the Mets. He'd love to see you for lunch. Okay. And I'd met him. Okay. Well, here's where we're going to meet, at the 21 Club. No, 21 Club's already, I don't usually go into New York and have lunch at the 21 Club. I might have it at Katz's Deli. So, or whatever. And he goes, next year, this was new at the time, the team is going to hire the announcer. It's always the stations. Now it's the team, it's a group thing, but that was a big deal. And I wondered to know if you'd be interested in being our announcer. Oh. Wow. It's like from junior high, if I could announce the Giants and live in San Francisco. Love that city. Ooh. He goes, you have to tell me now. And we had a great 2.5 hours. No money was discussed. I mean, wasn't the point. He goes, but call me tomorrow. I'll be at the such and such hotel. I always have lunch in my room, or whatever he said. And now I'm conflicted. I don't tell this one that often. So, and it probably would have been not the NBC money, more, and living in San Francisco, and okay, doing your team, and I'm hired by him. So I said, Bob, I can't believe I'm going to tell you this. You've come to me a year too late. I can't believe I'm saying it. You've come to me a year too late. I'm Brent Musburger. A year later, 2 years later, ESPN ended up getting Major League Baseball, and I asked to do the West Coast games on Tuesday night for a couple of years so I could do a lot of Giants.
Mm-hmm.
So
and you would go on to manage.
But the Brinks
team
truck
later.
was backed up, so by not taking the Brinks truck, I had some pull. I'm kidding. And
Yeah, you got to manage the Giants later on.
well, that was great. Yeah, but 1-1. With two springs in a row, if they even have spring training anymore.
Yeah.
They may not this year. I don't know. But at any rate, here's how good a guy he was, because I want to finish the story. I know we're going long, but I've got nowhere to go, and you can run this in April, Pause at the end of the line. He goes, after you telling me what you did yesterday at lunch, this is Bob Lurie, you made the right decision. That's how good a guy he was. He also took less money in selling the team in '93 not to have it move out of town to the Trop, the Giants in the Trop. Really?
Yeah.
Right.
But then that's not a knock on St. Pete. It's just they're the Sanford. I know they were New York, but this is.
Yeah.
But he took less. That's the kind of guy he is. Less money. He got plenty, but less money because he's a San Francisco guy, and he thought it was a pretty good group, McGowan and that group, and they're going to stay.
So speaking of San Francisco, we have to bring it up. The catch. You were there.
love it.
Is that true? You were there?
You seen it? We got to run it. It was.
You got the hair.
40 years ago last month.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to run it.
Had to.
No, I ran it again. I mean,
Just play it again.
I mean, it was the game itself. There were a lot of turnovers in it. It was not as far as a pure game like Kansas City Buffalo, where there were no turnovers. We can get to the football now. I know we're going to get there eventually, or maybe. We got all night, so we can do it. So, and I picked the Niners all year, partly because I'm doing the West Coast show. They were 6-10 the year before.
Yeah.
I was on them every week.
Yeah.
I go out to the championship game. I don't know anybody. They line up to do interviews, like 11 of them. You're the Swami. You pick us every week. I didn't know 2 years in. We have plenty of time for you. And that's everyone, from Joe Montana Wright to, the offensive lineman to Charlie Young, the tight end, and then we could go on and on and on. And then, of course, they win, and I'm friendly with the owner, Eddie DeBartolo, and then here you go with and now they win this, and we're on the field. I mean, the catch, and it's so now the game ends. Now, to do a stand-up, you got one shot to your overrun. One. You can try another one, but it ain't. First of all, the cameraman's carrying a heavy pack, and the wire is. People can get hurt, actually, if you let every. Here they come. And we run out. It's about 8 seconds to 8. Ready? 3. We got one shot, so that was under pressure.
Yeah.
So I was a young kid. I delivered, but then again, Joe Montana and Dwight Clark delivered a little better than that. Still remains an iconic game.
It does.
It just.
And the fact
And it was
Tom
the
Brady
start
was
of their.
there. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
it's the
everything.
start of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the Tuck game was the start of the Patriots.
Yeah.
And look what they did with it for 20 years. The catch was the start of 15 years.
Yeah.
It just, you didn't know it. I played the Bengals.
I love that clip. It's the
Well, you
and
one
roll
shot.
it again. One shot. And you got to think about it every time you watch it. Like, wow, we nailed it in that one shot.
Well, no one's thinking about that, but I am. Like,
Yeah.
I would have got my cameraman hurt. You know, we remember and Dwight, who passed of ALS a couple years ago, became, of all those guys, my best friend of that group, other than the owner, Eddie DeBartolo. They became all my. And it's just interesting how and when the last night at Candlestick, we ran. Dwight and I resurrected it.
That's awesome.
I threw it. Actually, he jumped, and it was December of 13. It was a Monday night game, pregame. We got to do it one last time.
That's amazing.
So you mentioned the modern era and the Super Bowl that we've got coming up here in a week and a half. What's the Swam predicting for the Super Bowl?
Well, as we sit, and you guys let me pass so far, so I'll throw it out so I know I'm immune from it. You know what day this is?
It's Groundhog's Day.
Duh, 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 duh.
Yeah.
Give you that little pop.
222.
Yeah.
So now I'm good, right? Like,
Yes. There you go. That was smart.
you can't write this stuff. Actually, it's almost written like your guys' fastest 2 minutes. Like, the Chris Boswell, New Mexico. Like, oh my God, nobody knows about Roswell, New Mexico. Little green guys. But so as we sit, this is on Groundhog's Day. So I'm not dodging because we talked about it before.
We're not holding
This
you
is a
to
Super Bowl. I didn't think.
Yeah, I don't think
I
anyone
didn't
did.
count on this one, which is fine. I mean, the Bengals earned every bit of it, but if you really want to get into it, I mean, I'm very close with the Chiefs and the Bills. So we had as great a playoff game as we've ever seen 2 weeks ago with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and nobody made a mistake. And you got to be, the record will show 13 seconds, but they both took the lead twice in the I don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
The only playoff game I could think of that was not the catch because there was like 8 turnovers in that game. It was great excitement. But I don't go exciting. You're talking about a great game. I go to San Diego at Miami in 81, 40 years ago.
Kellen
They went
Winslow?
overtime. The Winslow
Yep.
carried off. That's the only one. And by the way, San Diego, who won it, lost to Cincinnati the next week. So maybe that's the problem. So here's Kansas City, did all that to beat Buffalo, and then they laid that egg in the second half. Give the Bengals full props. I mean, whatever they did. Patrick Mahomes, this is Wednesday. I'm pretty close with them. I don't know what that was yet.
Yeah.
It was some team I don't recognize. And that's give Cincy credit. So I'm not dodging because who's to say they can't win?
Yeah.
One thing that Coach Reed told me in the middle of the week going into that game, said, do you think, even though they've beaten you before, and so they're confident, that the moment could be all of a sudden they're down in the third quarter? I posed this to him. Down in the third quarter, and I didn't predict down 21-3 or whatever, or 21-10, what have you. And they look around and the moment becomes a little big for him. He was quick to say, all those guys that won national championships on that team, and not only the quarterback and the receiver, but a lot of others who have played in, if we're counting on that, we're in trouble. They told me this in the middle of the week.
Wow.
Now, I mean, that was not an XO thing. That was just a conversation. He didn't count on it. I don't know. I don't know what happened. So the Bengals, are we just missing the boat?
Yeah.
I
4
think-
points, too.
We keep
Well,
thinking
but
that
you pick the winner.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Right.
But guys
Spreads
like us,
haven't-
once we figure that out, it's over.
Right,
Once
that's
anyone
true.
figures anything out with gambling, it all comes back against
Right.
you.
What we're talking about is until the Rams won but didn't cover, every other playoff game was just pick the winner.
Yep.
In other words, if the 49ers won, they're an underdog.
Easier
against
said than
Dallas,
done.
Right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just pick
Cincinnati
winners.
won those games, they're an underdog. You take but you throw the spreads out. So, but given that the playoffs we've had, so if 4, you'd think, well, it's got to be a field goal game, doesn't it? Isn't that the way you would? Yeah, and you would hope so after the. Of course, the first round of the playoffs were awful.
Yeah.
There were a lot of teams that shouldn't have been in.
Yeah.
You
The
know.
seven playoff teams. What's the best bet you've ever won?
Well,
Because I love that you all. I mean, now we're obviously
I got 2 of them.
gambling is big and everyone talks, but you were
prediction. We're
one
not
of those
even
guys.
talking about
yeah,
because first mortgage, I was done doing that.
yeah.
So I don't mind saying 83 mortgage. I make my picks. I make my 5 picks on TV. I live and die with them. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
I live and die with them.
Sure.
Because I want people to do.
Yeah.
So that 81 season, I was on the Bengals who were 6-10 and the 49ers who were 6-10, like all year. So I was like 68% because I have 5 picks: Cincinnati, San Francisco. Now let me think of 3 more. But that was just. I've had other years when it's been horrible. There's been a couple of funny ones. Like Mort always says, it always works out at the end. When you bring the ball to the game, you make the rules. So there was one year. But then I'll give you the greatest one ever, which is my walk-off Swami pick by accident. There was one. It's one of the great football games. I was 12 under 500, whatever it is going into the last week of the season. 93? And Cowboys at Giants. Big game. It was the Emmitt Smith game with the shoulder, and he ran for 180 yards. So it's a famous game, as it turns out. said, I'm picking one game, and it's worth 13. And you can't do that. Like, well, no, if I lose, I'm 25 under. I'm putting it up. Don't worry.
Yes.
But it's worth a 13-star special.
Yes.
Okay? And I said 16-13 Dallas, which was the score.
Wow.
And so nobody in the building, I'm doing it off the top of my head. I don't think it was 19-16. I think it was 16-13 if I'm wrong. It's one of the two, but I'm saying 16. It's a long time ago. Overtime. Score. Emmett's great game. Like, don't talk to me. I'm 1 over. And then we go on to the playoffs. And then the other one was my finals. So in 2016, when I was, changing what I was doing. So the final ended up being New England and Atlanta. That's Super Bowl. My pick in the Super Bowl, not the score, had New England by 6. Now, I'd be lying if I said, they're going to trail 28-3. They're going to go to overtime, but they're going to win by 6.
Read on that game.
I didn't have that. But the final was New England by 6. It's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not making another pick.
You nailed it.
I'm done.
That's got to be the best win of all time.
It is. Yeah. That's right. I got to that. But the Emmett one I remembered. I took such flack in the building. You can't do that. I can do whatever I want. It's my segment.
Special.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's your show. It's your podcast.
Yeah.
You want to do it? Go ahead.
Did you ever?
I have 3 Game of the Years already, and we're only in February. I mean, it's true. I'm 3-0. Game of the Year.
You got to have 3 games.
Yeah.
And you got another one.
People
maybe.
are like, how do you have this many Game of the Years? It's like, well, I keep seeing games that are Game of the Years.
Especially when you win it.
Yeah. 3-0. What are you going to
You
do?
win it. You do it. It's your ball. You brought it.
Exactly.
Did you ever happen to run into Hunter S. Thompson back in the 70s, 80s? Because he was another big gambler. I know he was tight with Al Davis back then.
Well, Pete Axthelm, who we worked with, was Hunter Thompson's buddy. But no, I don't think I met him back then. I mean, all that stuff was legendary. They all were, the New York gin mills and the Jimmy the Greek Circle and I didn't. I mean, they ran an interesting life. I was not yet. Remember, we're up here. We're 2 hours away from New York. You didn't go in and do whatever and then try to make your way home. So the answer is no. It would have been interesting, though.
Yeah, for sure. That would have been an all-time hang, I would imagine.
Pete would have been there, work with us. Pete Axthelm was like Jimmy the Greek on NBC. I mean, Pete was brilliant. He was with us our first years in prime time and countdown. Or game day, we called it then.
Yeah.
One thing I wrote down that I have to bring up, we're a big fan of yours all around, big fan of your golf game as well.
All right.
Love the wide brim hats. Has anybody ever told you, like, maybe don't wear a gray shirt when you're going to be out in the 95-degree sun?
Colorful shirt.
Yeah.
Sweating, I sweated at 12. Okay, so I sweated a long time ago before I was, I'm better. I lost a lot of weight now. But, I mean, again, it's the Titanic losing a few deck chairs. So they're floating right out there right now. So gray, I never wear gray. No, it's always colorful. But I mean, if it's warm and hot, and you got a carnation shirt, or a nice sharp purple shirt. Look, if you've ever come to my studio, which now but back in the day, 3 hours, countdown. Even in September, the camera people had to wear a jacket. You could hang meat in there, because I sweat in an igloo.
Yeah,
okay.
I run pretty hot too.
Good.
After I do
good
a show,
shirts.
yeah, this
Hawaiian
is a perfect
shirts.
shirt for it.
Yeah,
hide
great.
a lot of stuff.
Yes, they do. It's like a Magic Eye poster.
Black, and that would be
black.
rough.
Always, but I wear black shirts.
Well, right, but not on a golf course when it's 88.
Yes. Can we tell you something funny that you probably have no idea about? That's a very weird. You're gonna think we're stalkers. Your suit cleaner in Connecticut had a signed poster of
Is
you.
it the Grid Father?
We have that in our studio. He gave it to us.
I can send you as many as you want.
But we have that one from your dry cleaner.
No
Because
kidding.
his son is a huge fan of
That's
ours.
very
And he
funny.
said, I've had this. My dad's done the Schwam suits for 30 years. I want you guys to have it. It's sitting in our studio.
That's
it's
very
up.
funny.
Every single time you come in, it's right there.
I have plenty of them. They supposed to print 400 20 years ago, and there's 4,000, so I haven't gotten rid of all those.
Okay,
they're
yeah.
in the basement.
But that guy, your dry cleaner's got
the Grid Father. We
yeah,
made it look
the
good. There's
Gridfather.
even a knuckle ring. There's everything.
incredible.
It's Pacino-ish.
Yeah,
you know?
but your dry cleaner, he's probably had to do some work with the sweat.
Oh yeah, and
You've seen some
some
things.
was like, just sorry, I tried my best. What do
We
you
did
want from
everything
me?
we could.
Yeah, like,
They don't
hey, we
make
lost.
that
Gotta say
material.
goodbye.
They don't
It's not-
make
it's
that
not-
that
it's not
gets
gonna
rid
make
of
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, sit you down and just be like, listen, that
Some
suit,
people just
it's not
run
gonna
hot.
make
I
it.
Sweat
Yeah,
through
run
these
hot,
when
yeah.
you're on the air 3 hours tie.
we did
and
everything.
the air isn't running right,
Uh-huh.
and
The lights. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
The TV. Like I told Tommy, I told everyone I've ever worked with, you got to play with pain in TV. Give me like, well, we played 14 years at linebacker. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
Oh, yeah.
you'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, I did
Oh,
a
we tell
podcast
them
one
that,
time with a broken foot, and Big Cat got bit by a
Yeah.
dog.
Right in the. Yeah.
We still did a full show.
Look. It's game day.
Yeah.
Can you go?
The lights are on. We're
Some
going.
smelling
Hurt or
salts?
injured.
Tape
Yeah.
it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All
Good.
those things.
We're not taking you into the tent.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yeah.
You're cleared.
Let's go.
You got to go.
All right. So this has been incredible. We got to wrap. I mean, we don't want to take your entire life here, but we got to do your best nicknames. What are your best nicknames? What are the ones that you at the end of the day, it's like, oh, that one, because we have some of yours that we.
Oh,
love.
I want to hear those, but so are we going football? All right.
Whatever you want to do.
Well, we'll
Yeah,
do
your
football
choice.
last because
Okay.
that's kind of, I mean, so baseball, a lot of them now will predate even so much you guys because I'm going to the ones that, because the 80s I did 10 sports centers a week. We all did. Bob Lee did. Tommy Mees did. John Saunders. Today's John's birthday. We lost him, 5 years ago, 6 years ago? Great. We could go on and on. All the guys. We did 10 shows a week. Doesn't make us heroes, but hey, we're a network, but we have 1/4 of the staff. So you okay to do the next show? Well, I did the list. Yeah, we got another one. Go ahead. So did baseball all the time. So the best, I'll go right to that. Bert Blyleven, because that's Be Home Blyleven.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to see a lot of these nicknames are you don't have to know A, he's a pitcher, B, he pitches for the Twins or the Pirates or whoever, C, he has a curveball who got him into the Hall of Fame. You are a kid and you heard from your parents, Be Home Blyleven, and as a parent you've told your kid, Be Home Blyleven. You don't have to be a genius to figure these out.
Right.
So that's probably the best. I mean, the early ones, baseball, Jose, can you see Cruz? Julio, won't you let me take you on a sea cruise? A lot of them were from rock and roll. Vaughn, Purple Haze. A couple that stuck, and I just saw him last month. Crime Dog McGriff.
Yeah.
That stuck with him. Doggy. Like every player calls him Doggy. He loves, he's such a good guy. Certainly borderline Hall of Famer. Didn't touch a thing, and he hit almost 500 home runs, by the way. But
Chuck Knoblock's one of my
New
favorites.
Kids on Knobloch, yeah. And he liked it, too, even when he didn't make the throw correctly.
Yep.
Now I'm Roberto, remember the Alomar, that history major.
Yep.
You know
I
what
love that one.
I mean,
yeah.
food. There was a movie, Blame It on, or not food, but George Taco Bell. I mean, like that with
Yep.
Toronto. Like food. Everyone knows what Taco Bell is. You don't have to know he plays for Toronto. That's the best part of him. And it's, did I really hear that? And even if I get a chuckle out of him,
Yeah.
that's even more so. What do you have baseball?
So one of my favorite baseball ones is Miguel Tejada.
Very good. See, I don't forget these. To
Yeah, it
how
was
did they
Miguel-
come? To how did they fall?
Yes.
Right?
The best.
I mean, we are right. Jimmy Cliff.
The best.
Oh man, so I'm going too far back. I'm trying to think of.
Well, we can go to football too. Football is
Football's a
incredible.
ton.
Yeah.
So football, the best ones are those you can deliver under the highlights. You can sing with them. We've resurrected Lito Shepherd this year with Debo, which is Boss Skaggs. Debo, whoa, it's the Lito Shuffle, one of the great wind-up songs of all time. We used to do it for Lito Shepherd, defensive back, Philadelphia. The GM of the Niners, John Lynch, texted me like a month ago. Debo, whoa. Like, you know, and I've known Lynchy since he played, of course. But so when Steve Bono would go back to pass and complete it, you could go, do, I got you, babe, on a completion, right?
Yeah.
You could go, so Elvis Gerback. Again, these are all, but there are plenty right now. If Elvis went back and was going to be sacked, caught in a trap, you know? Okay. Mark Bulger, remember him with the Rams?
Yeah.
Well, that's the Scarecrow. Ray Bulger, right? So he'd go back to if I could only find a receiver, you know. And then the kickers had a lot of them,
Yep.
including David Greenacres and at the Vet. They used to play the theme from the TV set, but this is old. So now, and the guy that should be a head coach is Eric Sleeping with Bieniemy.
Yep.
You know, like
Incredible
he
one.
should be, and that was really Curtis. My favorite, Martin. Martian was a TV show. Obscure. Good for this audience. Do you remember Steelers, primarily fullback Chris Mafala?
Yes.
Fuamatu Mafala.
Yes.
We called him Chris Fuamatu Bad Mafala. And then Tommy would chime in, because that came out of Shaft. It was like, you know, can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Yeah.
Like,
Shut your mouth.
We
But those
throw
are-
those in too. We'll throw in like the Tej going back with the boom.
I know that.
Yeah.
And
You're absolutely right,
guys-
Boom.
No, so now, see, okay, now.
We're missing a couple of my absolute favorite. I know
now
PFT's
Joe,
got some
he's in the
favorites.
Super Bowl. Who's in the Super Bowl? So I'm going quickly. Joe Mixon match. It's okay. It's not great. It's okay. But I'm thinking it's Bengals.
I can give you one for the Bengals if
Go
you
ahead,
want.
please.
So Joe Burrow throws a pass to Jamar Chase. Burrow and Chase hide and seek. It works.
It's in. Hide and seek.
Hide and seek. Or you could go. What do we do for Joe Burrow? Do we do like
January Joe,
all systems Joe?
Yeah.
which is what it is.
Think about it. Yeah.
Man, 2 years ago, he won the national title, and now he can win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
2 years ago, he sat in the box with us at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now he's playing it. He might win.
It's crazy.
It's not good for him. But why am I? I mean, we have whoa. The Cuba Missile Crisis.
Yep. Cuba Missile
I'm trying to think
Crisis.
of this year.
Yeah.
There's a. Go ahead.
Well, I mean,
your
Jake
turn.
Delhomme.
Huh?
Jake Delhomme is one of my all-time favorites.
Daylight come and you got it Delhomme.
Yeah,
you got
I mean,
it Delhomme. Right.
That one's, and then John Kitna was my other favorite that you
Well,
always do.
yeah, with Kit, go ahead, Kitna Caboodle.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I mean, I hadn't thought of him in a while.
Yeah, I know.
But that's
I love those.
Look, a lot of them, a lot of the kickers. And I
think it was with Jeff Philadelphia Feagles,
Yeah,
which
well,
is like
that's one of
so
them.
it's so easy, but it's just so funny to say because he's playing for the Giants, and you're like Jeff
I know
Philadelphia
it didn't.
Feagles.
But when they work, when they're from where they're from,
Yeah.
like Royce Clayton was a shortstop with the Giants. Royce Aroni Clayton,
Mm-hmm.
the San Francisco Treat. But Jeff, not Feagles, Jay Feely, who TV now.
Yeah.
So I would do the Who for that one on long ones. See me, Feely, and you like to sing, right? You
Tommy,
you
can you
sung
feel
the
me?
anthem or
Anthem,
something.
yeah, when we do our boxing. Yeah.
That's a hard song.
It is.
I can sing. I was set to do it, and the Whalers naturally, the last week of their final season here in '97, down their leg the last 2 or 3. They were going to make the playoffs, and lose to somebody in the opening round, but they were going to get in. And I had to deal with the general manager, Jim Rutherford. Not the national anthem. I'm okay singing. I'm okay. As Huey Lewis told me, as a golfer, Boomer, you're a 15. As a singer, you're a 6, So I was going to sing "Oh Canada." That you can get to. That range is different in English and French.
So
but they didn't make it.
yeah, I did O Canada in Providence when we did a rough and rowdy, our pay-per-view boxing.
How'd it go?
Everyone just started booing and I started laughing.
Why?
Because
Canadians.
It was a Canadian. Our main event was a Canadian versus an American. So I start singing it and everyone starts booing because everyone's revved up and drunk, and I just started laughing hysterically, and I couldn't finish the whole thing. It was such a scene.
You can do it. You guys probably don't even know it. One of the best. So the old gentleman that used to sing "O Canada" at the Montreal Forum, Roger Doucette, is gone. Have you ever seen this on video? You need to find it.
Okay.
So they would wheel him out at the biggest games, silver hair, tuxedo, some of the great games when the Guy Lafleur was playing, and before that, but in the 70s, you can find it, like 35 seconds. You wanted to charge through customs. Roger Doucette, and in English and French it was man at the Forum. Again, bow tie, tux, silver hair. It's like Kate Smith back in the day, singing "God Bless America" for the Flyers. But it was better because it was Montreal.
Right.
No knock on Kate or the Flyers, but it's Montreal.
Yes.
I mean, it's hockey.
Yes.
Right?
We've seen you sing the second verse to "Take It Easy" before. Standing on the corner.
Yep.
Winslow, Arizona, such a fine sight to see. We do a recurring bit on our show.
Do you?
I don't know if you've heard about this one, but as an homage to you, we just assumed, because we know that you're a big fan of classic rock, we see the Rod Stewart album come out every year in late September.
You're good, man. You've done a hell of a, yeah.
Well, I mean,
that's our life.
That's our life. We
You're
watch
saying that.
We
It was
watch
like,
football and highlights. I'm just
leaves are about to
repeating
turn, yeah.
what I've seen. Late September is Maggie May comes out on the studio update desk, which I always love.
4.
Yep.
Week 4, yeah.
Week 3 was Don Henley, Boys of Summer.
Yep. So the first year we started to do this this homage to you, actually, I tried to put that in week 3, and Big Cat goes, "It's too soon."
Yeah.
And he's like, push it back.
You gotta wait.
And he's right.
Seasons later.
Yeah.
Week 3 may be good now because we start late.
Yeah, it's true.
But we
may be
There's a
okay.
feel to it. It's like it's right before the clocks and everything, and it's like, oh yeah, it's not.
It's late.
Summer's
you gotta be
gone.
late September.
Yeah, you gotta
It's
really
be the
feel.
final September weekend.
Yeah, your
That's
first
the
sweatshirt day. It's like, oh, okay, it's football.
No, it's late. No, and it's funny because I realized when I bring this album out that a lot of people a little younger than you don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
What is this? Well, I have 400 of them.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Is it the same album that you bring out every time?
Yes, it's always every picture tells a story. Rod Stewart. I mean,
But is it
Maggie May is on that album.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same
Had it from
physical
college.
album that you've had.
Absolutely.
I love that.
I mean,
That's
I
awesome.
had it at college. I played the wax off it. In college, Maggie May.
Yeah.
I mean, my
Yeah.
God,
The best.
The intro to that song, that'll wake you up. That's a feel good song.
It's a great. Now the Eagles. So Glenn Fry was he passed. A great friend of mine, and we did 2 Super Bowl Swamis. He joined me for one of them, the one in San Diego when the Broncos broke that long winning streak of the NFC, like 12 or 13 or 11 in a row, whatever it was, and they beat the Packers. But we did it in front of the Hotel Coronado, San Diego, which is famous, and we did it at the Hotel California. And he's dressed as a bellman who comes out, like I start to, I quote every line of the song, like, my mind is Tiffany twisted. I can't pick the winner or whatever. And he goes, Chris, what do you do? He comes out singing, "Welcome to the Glenn Fry, what are you doing here?" He goes, "I live here. What are you doing here?" And then we went on and on and on. And yeah, no, singing is okay. I mean,
It's good. I've heard you sing that second verse before. We do the Standing on the Corner as a tribute to Jameis Winston every week. We say Jameis Winston down in NOLA is what we did this year.
It used to be Jameis Winston, Tampa, Florida, and then he got traded. So hopefully he's.
Well, who knows
He
where
goes.
he'll
Yeah,
be.
I know. We might be
A
screwed.
song is a song, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't
It's on
matter.
stage.
You still get a chance to sing.
Yes.
Take It Easy.
Yes,
The
yes.
song that put the Eagles on the map.
Yes.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and you got decent voice. We heard you sing on stage.
Okay.
I don't know if it might not have been with the Eagles. It was maybe with a cover band. You probably didn't even know that you were being taped, but some sicko out there was videotaping you singing it, and they sent it to us because
Hawaii right before, probably in Hawaii. But we said when Glenn passed away, Huey and the news when they could tour a few years ago came through here Connecticut about 2 months later, and I said, Huey, he's a friend of both of ours. can you guys work up Take It Easy? Because Huey always would call me up, and I'd sing a song. He's nice enough to let me do it, Walking on a Thin Line, that is not taking it from, it's an add-on. Nobody wants to hear me sing The Power of Love or, or anything like that, the heart of rock and roll. But we would, so I sang, one is with Huey Lewis and the News. You can find that on YouTube. It's somebody shot on their phone. It wasn't any professionally, they worked it up, and I forgot about it. He called me that afternoon. You going to come over for, we're going to work up Take It Easy. Like, you didn't forget. Yeah. We practiced once. It's always, he calls me for an encore so that at least you've had a few beers by then, and not too many, but a few.
Yeah.
And then I'm okay, but one and out.
What's your
Nobody needs to see me throw 50 passes a game. Nobody needs to do that.
What's your all-time favorite band?
Well, I mean that's a tough one.
Yeah.
This job has allowed me to be friends with somebody like Glenn Fry. Bob Seger is a very good friend because they're sports fans. Yeah, so that would be Bob Seger. Silver Bullet would be way up there. But if you're asking me a rock and roll question, I'd have to give it to the Stones. I just think I would because they're still doing it, or they were.
Yeah.
And the songs from the 60s, they still could come out today.
Yeah.
They're under my thumb.
Dead Flowers is one of my favorite songs ever.
The ones from the 60s, let alone 70s, 80s. So if you're asking me a rock and roll honest question, it would have to be the Stones. Do I know that? I met Mick, a few minutes, but Bob Seger and Huey Lewis and there's the others, Stephen Stills. Like it's really cool that, and what you guys are finding. Yes, you have your hardcore audience that's sports and all, but you meet people from all over America, Canada, etc., white, black, old, young, who hey, we're football fans, for example. And sports has allowed me and us to meet you guys.
Football
frankly.
fans. You like football. We like
You
football.
like football?
I like football.
No, we like football.
I like football.
I like football.
Let's have a meal. What do you
You want to talk
It's
football?
a perfect ending.
You want to talk football?
Some spread.
From a commercial. Howie Long, every time I see him, he says some spread. God, I tell you what, if I ever need to be refreshed, I'm 66 now. Don't ask me what I had for breakfast.
Yeah.
I could tell you what happened in the catch 40 years ago, but don't ask me if I had an egg or a cereal today for breakfast. But if I forget some details of my career,
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, we got you.
We're Wikipedia
I know where
for
to
Chris
call
Berman.
now.
Yeah.
Damn. This has been, look, I appreciate that more than anything. You guys are not, forget me, fans of football, and you have, I don't want to equate cable in 79 and 80 to the podcast business, but your first one was what?
2016.
Yeah.
Was podcast like maybe that was the first year-ish of them?
Podcast started in about like 2010, 2011.
But
is
no
when
one knew what they
No one
were.
really did too many of them. We had a few guys. KFC at Barstool started back in 2012.
Yeah, it was on that one.
Yeah. So, but we started in 2016, and it was we were at the right place at the right time. So we caught that wave. We had a little bit of help from ESPN, who sent us a cease and desist letter after our first episode.
These things happen.
But then we just
I thought it didn't get lost in the mail?
No, well, we ended up using that to cease and desist them back, saying you need to cease and desisting us. And then that obviously, it got more eyeballs on our podcast. So indirectly, I guess they call that the Streisand effect.
Yeah.
But things were, very fortunate for us at that time.
Well, right place at right time. See, so I was thinking about it knowing I was coming out like a month ago, and then we had this is great. That I don't want to equate podcast with cable TV, but in some ways it is. Like you didn't know. You thought you guys had a good show. That's your job with your crew. Let's put a good show together, right? Every week. And do we hit a home run every week, every 2 days? Not necessarily, but is every painting a Rembrandt?
Right.
Some are finger paintings, right? Not really good, but bring the energy, bring the knowledge, and my point is, you guys took something that may not have taken off, And I respect that because that's kind of what we lived 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think it's really pretty cool.
Our mindset is like, if we can make each other laugh and have fun doing the show, then to us that feels like a good show. And hopefully other people out there will kind of find the same things that we find funny to be funny for them.
I agree. Now, the only thing I did bring, and I'm surprised you're not going with it. I mean, I'm supposed to at least. Hawaiian shirt, I'm not going to change.
Yeah, the
your-
shades.
I gotta say, I took the shades off for you.
Ultimate sign of respect that he didn't have the shades
Yeah,
on.
very much. There we
No,
go.
and I knew that.
I wanted to look you in the eye during this episode.
No, I first of all, Hawaiian shirt shades, I got it.
Yeah.
I'm
Don't
with
worry.
you. Rock. All
This
right.
is a good look. This is a good look. I love it.
But I meant to start with it, and then we went to the wallet, and all,
Yeah, the
and
wallet
then
had to do
everything
it.
went downhill from there on.
Yeah,
So-
this has been
You
great.
guys are
Yes.
totally respectful, and I appreciate how hard you work. Not this show, but I mean this particular. But I mean how hard you work in putting it together. Like you and your listeners and your viewers respect it, but now they expect it,
Yeah.
and you
Yes.
expect it of yourself.
Yes.
It don't come easy, Ringo
Yeah.
Starr.
Yeah.
I got one last question for you. Just kind of looking towards the future. What's next for Boom? Where do you see the next 5, 10 years? Are you gonna be happy if you retire, getting off TV? Are you gonna feel that itch? Do you want to be in front of the camera?
Which is why I full-time ended it at the end of 16, but the next 2 years I was around, because kind of, I'm not George Washington. Maybe I'm Abe Lincoln. More like Teddy Roosevelt. That seems more likely. But
I think you could get shot during a show and still finish it.
Well, yeah.
Hopefully
I
we'll
would
never find
try.
out. Yeah.
I would try, to your point. But then this reinvention of primetime on Plus, I know it's Plus, and I'm not knocking Plus, but we don't have the rights to do it anywhere else. I sold that. I talked to our president, Jimmy Patero. Do you think we could get rights to this? Because I want to do that. So where I'm at now, I got 1 year left of it, but that'll be 68. I certainly see me doing it to 70 if they'll have me. And then we'll see. I mean, but yeah, there would be an itch. Prime time has scratched the itch, because it gives me excuse. I could call my friends in the league anytime. Mm-hmm. Coaches, not so much players, some, but you're doing the show. There's a reason, and they know you're doing it, and you're on at half. And then ESPN put the halftime highlights back on a year ago, which I taped Sunday night, which is why the Sunday night game's not in there. But I mean, not even the Swami can predict what's going to happen on, Sunday night. But that's it. I'm in a good place like that, because 42 years, not like, I'm so tired. Tell that to somebody in a coal mine, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think so. Mm-hmm. So, but that's a good question. And I thought I was kind of done, but this has been reinvigorating, being able to do prime time and the halftime, but then during the week, if I want to go do something, I'm good.
Yeah.
So you'll have me to kick around for a few more years. If they'll have me after one more, we'll see. It's up
I
to
love
them.
it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
They could send me that letter, and I don't.
I doubt that.
Yeah, no way. So
Well, you never know.
We riot if
Yeah.
they send you that
Yeah.
letter. We will storm. We'll treat Bristol like it's the Capitol on January 6th. I'll line up outside and tear the damn gates down if they throw
We'll
you
get
out.
it solved before it comes to
Yes,
that.
okay.
Thank
Yes.
you. You guys have been as loyal as. I mean, my goodness. I need you in my backfield.
Yeah.
Or
got you.
the fullback.
yeah, we got you. We got you. But it's been pleasure's been all ours. So thank you so much, Chris Berman, Boomer, the Schwam, absolute legend. We appreciate it.
Le grand chat, le raconteur, merci.
There, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Chris Berman was brought to you by our great friends over at Movement. We love Movement. Valentine's Day is next week. We know that finding the right gift can be stressful. Stop what you're doing right now. Go take care of your Valentine's shopping right now. Our friends over at MVMT Movement Watches have already done the hard work for you with a huge site-wide sale. MVMT is a Valentine's Day favorite. They've got timeless watches, 18K fine jewelry pieces, and special edition styles like rare ceramic watches and bracelets. You can save on these gifts right now. Just choose a watch and a matching accessory. Get an immediate 20% off your order, plus free shipping and free returns always. It's better than chocolates. It's better than flowers. It's better than a bag filled with Victoria's Secret yoga pants and sports bras. Trust me. These are the gifts that last. They can wear it every single day. Shop 20% off today with free shipping and free returns by going to mvmt.com/pardon. It just occurred to me, if you get your girl like a bunch of workout clothes for Valentine's Day, you're pretty much being like, hey, you're fat. You need to work out more. Not the issue with movement. Movement watches, MVMT, check it out. It's a great gift to get your significant other, boy or girl. Again, go to mvmt.com/pardon. That's mvmt.com/pardon. Get your most stress-free Valentine's Day gifting done. MVMT, style shouldn't break the bank. Join the movement.
Okay, that is the show. I just dropped my phone again. Boomer was incredible. That was well worth the wait. And yeah, we bullshit with him for about a half hour before we even started the interview. Hank gave the look, which I know very well, where he was like, why are you guys just doing the interview before we do the
It was like a couple minutes was fine, and then you guys kept going, and then PFT asked one question that I was like, you definitely wrote that down for the interview.
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
What question?
Here's the thing. It was because he's old school. Like, so his handler, who I'd been in contact with, like constant contact with, was like, hey, Boomer wants to like shoot the shit for a little bit before you guys start. Like, yeah, we're cool with that. So I knew that we needed to do a little bit of that.
My ears like perked up.
Yeah, I know. When you gave the look, I was like, oh no, we got to get in there. We got to start, because we definitely were like starting to get into like conversation. I think we were talking about like him hanging out with like the 80s Niners or something. And we're like, all right, let's go.
It was a dream come true. There was one point where we were expecting him to start coming down the hallway, and Big Cat and I heard him before we saw him. And it definitely reminded me of when we met Coach O for the first time, and we heard him down the hallway and then got to walk out and see him. You heard Boomer coming down the hall. Everybody just like, our ears perked up, and we're like, oh my God, he's actually here. And like, dude is a lot of fun to talk to. We probably could have gone for 4 hours with him.
Yeah, he there was probably about 3 or 4 times this weekend where I just like had a little smile come over my face, just replaying in my head him doing that subtle whoop and a whoop with Barry Sanders, saying that's how he created it. It was like the funniest like 2-second clip where it's like something about his whoop.
It's effortless. That's the
and
thing.
it can't be like we replicate it, but it's not.
No.
It's a total cheap knockoff. Like his whoop is just it's perfect. It's almost like if you saw like a great like diamond jeweler can see like a true diamond. That's his whoop. And then you see ours, you're like, okay, this is a fugazi right away.
Yeah,
like throw it out. It's a fucking fake.
We're Smash Mouth covering Under Pressure by Queen and David Bowie at that point. No disrespect to Smash Mouth.
And a whoop. And a whoop. And a
But
whoop.
it was it was an all-time moment. There were so many times where I was just sitting watching him, and I was smiling.
Yeah.
His presence made me so happy. And then we should actually give a shout out to Evan Longoria, because Boomer was telling us the story after the interview was over, and he goes, in 2019, I know that you guys have been reaching out to me, and I'd put it off a couple times, but then Evan Longoria came up to me in San Francisco, and before a game
In Boston,
excuse me.
because they were playing, because
Yeah.
he was like, they're at Fenway, so I went up for all 3 games in his big Boomer voice.
Yeah. So Evan Longoria took out his phone. It was on a Tuesday, and he played Boomer our Monday morning NFL recap, the fastest 2 minutes, and he sat and he listened to it, and he was like, I like these guys. I want to meet these guys, and that's when he decided that he was eventually going to do the show.
It was still 2.5 years later, like, because
that makes me feel so warm inside, though, to know like Boomer heard us, and Boomer liked us,
and it was a slow process, because I remember I would just text like every like 3 months, being like, hey, any word about Boomer? It's like, well, he knows he likes you guys, but he's like, it was a slow. He's old school in every sense of the word, but I actually am happy that we didn't interview him 3 years ago or whatever it was, because it was perfect. It was like the perfect time, Super Bowl week. Everything was perfect.
Yeah.
So shout out Chris Berman. And like, speaking of old school, we had his guy rented a conference room and had a full spread. Like, we had a full lunch spread. I was like, this is not necessary. He's like, no, we got to get a full spread. It's like, okay, fine, let's get a full spread.
And they had
That's fine.
sparkling water, Diet Cokes. It was actually Diet Pepsi, but his guy was like,
We need Diet Coke.
his guy's like, Boomer likes his Diet Coke. Understandable, I get it. And so then somebody came down from the front desk with these 2 1-liter bottles of Diet Coke. Everything was perfect. Boomer, he was actually like a very, very down to earth,
Yes.
cool guy. Obviously, everything that he says has the weight and gravitas behind it of Chris Berman is saying this thing. And there's something about his presence that's just like, well, this guy, like, I'm picking up what this guy's
Yes.
putting down.
Yes. All right, let's do numbers. Great show.
Jewel me.
Here we go. Numbers.
44.
I'll do an 8.
69.
56.
You just stole my number that I've been doing. The Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you get it.
So, yeah.
22.
All right.
What do you got, Bubba? What do you got, PFT?
Can't keep track of people's
I'm not
numbers.
doing the 8. I'm changing.
I was only doing 56 this week or last
changing
week.
it to 71.
71. 72.
Oh,
So close.
Roadrunners
So
mate for life.
love you guys.